This is the Hutton Bite-Sized Bulletin, all the latest from in the galaxy, for those of us that are stuck out there in the rest of it.
The studio has been hastily adorned with all sorts of decorations. Someone's had an outbreak of tinselitis all over the radio decks. All the chairs have baubles hanging from them in suggestive locations, and there's a distinct whiff of cinnamon in the air.
It's quieter than usual, but as ever, the show must go on, and a couple of the presenters are hanging around ready to do their thing. The sofa has been hauled in from the green room, and the door left open in case anyone wants to pop in with a glass of something festive, flammable, and full of flavour.
There's no script. There's no running order. There is just a big panel covered in buttons, and one of them is duly pushed before a voice says,
Our mics are hopefully live. Good evening, and for those of you that celebrate such things, a very Merry Christmas. Now, yes, you can probably see me on screen. I've decided to put myself on screen this week because I've gone a bit festive. But for those of you that don't celebrate this particular festival, then just a happy midwinter holiday season thingy. Anyway, welcome to a very special and rather impromptu, because we weren't going to be doing this, but we changed our minds, special Hutton Orbital Christmas show with us. And by us, I mean...
Wilma Fingerdew.
And Norma Snookers.
"Oh, and me. I'm here too."
We would say that we have a packed show for you today, with all the news from the galaxy. But to be fair, we've been at the eggnog and champagne since breakfast, and we've been paying absolutely no attention.
What we do have is whatever we can cobble together on the spot, followed by a series of sketches from the Hutton Christmas DJ box for you.
But first...
The headlines. The Emperor's new clothes.
Lakon, board of the board? New ones aboard.
Have I missed the party?
Yes, now shush.
Reports have been coming in that our esteemed King Hanky has taken a step up in the world. No, that doesn't mean he's bought another fleet carrier to add to the 6 he already owns, or bought a set of stepladders. King Hanky was trawling the archives for what we suspect was a restricted artistic calendar Princess Aisling Duval appeared in before her meteoric rise to power, when he stumbled on a little-known or used law regarding the position of Emperor. Who'd have thought having multiple kingdoms and more fleet carriers than you can waggle an overloaded slave cutter at would grant such an esteemed status? Yes, our very own King Hanky has plumped for the big one and proclaimed himself Emperor. Emperor of what is open to speculation at this point, but as you can imagine, this has caused somewhat of a stir within the Empire. Denton Petraeus has dismissed the move as a complete bucket of old beep. Although, in a surprising turn of events, Arissa Lavinia Duval, who is regarded as the Emperor, was overheard inquiring for an aide to find out if he's fit and single. Let's hope Emperor Hanky hasn't bitten off more than his 6 fleet carriers can hold here, or of course invested in some new clothes, and clarifies what exactly he is Emperor of before Denton Petraeus gets hold of him, or he ends up with more than he bargained for on the matrimonial front.
In the ongoing saga of man-run starship building business, man meets Type 9, man falls in love with Type 9, Type 9 rejects man, man sells all his possessions on the cheap to impress the Type 9, Type 9 takes out a court injunction, man kidnaps the board of directors, Type 9 sees Type 10 acting like a cheap hussy, man rubs hands with glee. You'd be forgiven for wondering what in Sajay was going on. But this sordid love story of one man's love for his space cow has been going on for months now, and it looks like Core Dynamics and the mustachioed Maestro Rochester might be on the verge of popping the big question. Having bought up all the shares he could lay his hands on, he's fired the board of Lakon and replaced them all with a bunch of cronies and yes-men. As hostile takeovers go, this is up there with the invasion of WNL, or even Mitnahas. Can our beloved Lakon Spaceways do anything to stop the Rochester? Where does Buck stand in all of this? What would the new company be called? Core Spaceways? Lakon Dynamics? General Spaceships? It will take until 3307 for us to discover the outcome of all of this, but in the meantime, if you've bought one of those Lakon branded paint jobs for your ship, you might very soon be sitting on a very, very rare thing. Of course, they could just bribe everyone into submission by finally releasing the Panther Clipper, but those kinds of wishes are up there with the Galactic Lottery winning numbers. It's the 2000th rollover week this week. And of course, hen's teeth and rocking horse droppings.
I suppose I'd better do a hot pit report. I mean, you dragged me from the Hutton office Christmas party to come and sit in the studio, and there's not even any eggnog.
You'll get a bash on the noggin if you don't behave.
But there were balloons, and I was about to pull a cracker.
Likely story.
Ow! Not that kind of cracker. Right, where was I? Hutton Space. Oh, I'm seeing stars now. Cokery's looking a bit better. Wolf 1481's just rubbish. Borrowed stars in a right old mess. Help us, hurt them. That's about the size of it. As for Hanky's colon, it's a little stuffed. Not badly though. Needs a little work as we're feeling a little low. And that's it for now. Can I put my party hat on now?
And finally, it's me. All I've got to say this week is a big thank you to all the groups out there who have sent lovely cards in. We've had a fantastic one in from Fatherhood. Canonn have gone crazy on the glitter with theirs. Apparently they mint some tinfoil. And there's love and hugs all round, or fist bumps, or a distant but meaningful nod. We'll be back with my bit on another show, but for the time being, the only community news I've got is about the fuel rats. They are rapidly approaching 100,000 successful rescues, and a poster competition to mark the occasion is due to finish by the end of today. So if you have been sitting on what could be a winning entry, get it sent in as soon as possible. You could be in with a chance of winning a fantastic prize. Details of how to enter can be found at https://www.fuelratart.org/ratartcontest.html. And that's it from me this week.
And we're back. Now, who broke the green room feed? We nicked the sofa from the green room, we dragged it in here, and somebody must have tripped over a cable, which sounds like the green room feed is broken. So I reckon what we need to do is bust the door open and let everybody in here. What do you reckon on that idea?
I think that's a good idea.
Should we go? Right,
Hanky's not there, so let him in.
Should we grab one each? I'll grab a litho breaker, somebody else grab the other two, and we'll drag them in here.
Aiden.
Here we go. Here we are. We've got a litho breaker. We've got a Taran. Who's got 8? Oh, anybody got Aiden?
Yeah,
There we go. We've dragged them into the live room because the green room feed got broken when we moved the sofa. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, listener. Good evening, radio presenters, and good evening, guests. I'm taking my sunglasses off now because I can't actually read the script with these things on. Right.
What script?
Yeah, now, what was supposed to happen this week was that we were supposed to pre-record something and then push a magic button.
Yep.
And then we were all going to go down, I don't know, to another room and have a drink.
You nearly said undressed then, didn't you?
I know you can see this jacket, but you can't see what's lower down. I'm just sitting here in my special Christmas underpants and a jacket. There we go.
Best laid plans of mice and men.
Gang off to Glay. Yep. Well, yeah, so all the plans did gang off to Glay. In this case, they went to Glay in a big way because, yes, Tier 4 in the UK, where the radio studio is, for lots of it anyway. Apart from, I don't know, Snoz, I think, is just about the only one who isn't in Tier 4, is he?
Oh, I'm 3.
Oh, you're 3?
I'll be 3 after Boxing Day.
Hang on a second, Commander Aiden. That means you've vacated the county.
I'm in 2.
You two? What?
What, 3 and 4?
No, I'm Tier 2.
Anyway. But yes, we all sort of got a bit locked down, and it meant that nobody was able to go and visit their mum, grandma, auntie, best mate, anything over Christmas. So we changed our plans and decided we were going to go live this evening to keep everybody company. Now, so we're having a bit of a different show because we don't have a Galnet this evening because, well, we gave Peter the week off and... I thought we didn't have a sports report, but it sounds like we do. And I thought we didn't have a Flossy's bit, but we do. So actually, we've got an awful lot of show coming up. Your presenters this evening, obviously, originally it was just going to be me on a button, and then it was me on a button and an Aemilia, and then it was me on a button and an Aemilia and a Deadmeat, and then it was me, Aemilia on a button and a Deadmeat and a Flossy, and then it was everybody else. So in the studio at the moment, we've got Commander Aiden.
Hello.
Hello. So you've vacated the swamp that is London and escaped somewhere more sensible, have you?
Yes, I was on the train coming down to my parents round about the time that the pronouncement of doom was happening. So I went, oh, okay. Oh, well, I was out of London anyway, so it's only when I have to go back that's going to be the amusing thing. But then again, it's not going to be a problem.
No. I mean, for many of us, it's much the same. I've got an apology to make to Flossy. Flossy was always going to be here anyway. I just, I made a mistake. So Flossy was always here, by the way. So you've escaped. Aemilia, now you were due to escape somewhere that was completely plague-free, wasn't it? You were heading southwest?
Yes, and I will be for Christmas Day because I'm allowed to on Christmas Day, but just Christmas Day.
Just Christmas Day. And then you and Sandrine have got to come back again.
Yeah, so we'll be here for New Year.
Which is sort of great for us, because yes, New Year's Eve. It's a funny one. Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve for Hutton this year.
Awesome.
We've got stuff to do. Now, I know we traditionally have got a Hutton Christmas play. And Aemilia, I think you were our voiceover for last year.
Yes, I
our
was
narrator.
the narrator.
Yep.
I also did several other roles, but they weren't voice acted.
What was it? Screaming and running, and you were the third chain
I was
on
Rudolph.
the left.
Yeah, I was Rudolph. I was the third guard on the left. I was one of the wise men. I did a number of roles, but none of them were voice acted.
Oh no, but everybody can imagine your performances in those. But what we're going to do this year, obviously, we do have a Hutton Christmas special, but we're doing it for New Year instead of for Christmas because things have been a bit crazy over the last week. So Commander Chix and a number of others have been putting together a bit of script for the Hutton Christmas special, but we're going to turn it into the Hutton New Year special because last year New Year was the Muggies, but the Muggies is now on the 7th. So anyway, yeah, what we're going to do is have a bit of a flashback to previous Hutton sketches. So we've got a really busy show. The last thing we're doing on the show this week is actually playing out the entirety of last year's 38-minute Christmas panto at the end of the show. But we're going to build up to it.
That was awesome.
Yeah. Anyway, Deadmeat, thank you for joining us.
It's always a pleasure.
So you're 3. So Amelia's 3. You're 3, or you 4? You're 3.
I'm 3. Yep.
3 tending towards 4, maybe later.
I'm 3.
Yes, I'm 3. And you and sort of Tiny occupying the house with your feet up and just enjoying a glass of something.
Yes, we have a game of battle cards scheduled for tomorrow, but that's pretty much the only official plan.
Oh, I can't get anybody in my house to play battle cards at the moment.
Yeah, well, we have. Well, it's taken this long, so it's not an easy thing to arrange. But yeah, unfortunately, one of her colleagues has tested positive, so
Oh, boo.
we can't go anywhere for Christmas Day. So which is a pain.
So you might as well be in tier 4.
Yeah.
With the rest of us.
Hopefully, because that was a quick test, and they're a bit unreliable. So hopefully the proper test will come back negative and we can actually see a couple of people over the break. But no, we could be stuck in here for.
Well, I mean, that's why we're putting the show on this evening, because one of the things we had, and before we move on to the rest of the people in the room here, we had a load of messages. People say, "Are you doing a show on?" And we were like, "No, we're just going to hit play on something." And like, no, but are you doing a show now that we've got lockdown? Because we're all on our own. So we thought, go on then. Go on, we'll do a show because everybody's locked down and can't see their mums, aunties, and best mate and whatever else.
And
so
everybody wishes Flossy was their mum.
Well, I was going to say, talking about everybody's best mate, Flossy.
Yes.
Now, of course, you're in 2, which means you couldn't do what you like. But just because you're mad, you decided to join us.
Well, yeah, but we're still avoiding going out. We're treating it as tier
Of course.
4, really.
Well, because Flossy, you're one of the most sensible people I've ever met. So, yeah. Of course you're staying in. But other than that, you've been sort of gainfully employed this week doing CGs or mining or exploring, or what you've been up to?
Oh, what have I done this week? There's been no CGs to do. Just doing bits of exploring and the occasional fuel ratting. Not a lot else, really.
Well, talking of the occasional fuel ratting, obviously you're going to bring us a little bit up. Well, you did just bring us up to date a minute ago, or your alter ego did, about they're rapidly approaching 100,000 successful rescues.
Yeah.
Do we know how close they are?
I can have a quick look.
Well, I'll tell you what. Well, I'm just going to invite the apology officer for a random announcement. I'm hoping it's apology officer. While you look it up, I'm going to push the random button. Hang on a second. I have no idea what's about to happen.
With the pilot of the Red Planet Taxi Service ship, registration Red 4, please remove your hauler from the medium pad.
Well, there we go. Thank you very much. Red 4, will you please get off the medium pad? For those of you watching on Twitch, you can actually see a live feed of Hutton Orbital here. You will occasionally see a ship come down and land, but I think there must be one pad blocking somewhere up there. Anyway, but that is actually a live feed, semi-live feed of Hutton Orbital. I think it may have a bit of lag on it, but you may see a ship come down every now and again. So, Flossy, while I was doing that, have you managed to come up with an answer?
96,822.
96. So there's still a little way to go, but they're chucking in a few hundred a day, aren't they?
I believe they are at the moment, yes. I'm not quite up to date.
Well, they were saying it was
about 100 or so a day.
Yeah, they were doing about 500 a day for a few weeks, weren't they, with all the newbies in? And I think they've settled down a tiny bit to...
yeah, it has a bit.
Yeah. So the art contest, yes, fuelratart.org/ratartcontest.html. We did put a link into the Twitch stream chat. If you're listening on the radio, then you can't read that link. But I'm sure if you hunt really hard for fuelratart.org, you'll find something. Then we have the return of the Space Cowboy, the Lithobreaker, in the studio.
Hello.
Are you there, Lithobreaker?
Hopefully.
Hopefully, yes. I got to see you on camera earlier.
Scary.
Yeah, no,
yes.
we were putting together a video. We were sending a video over to one of our comrades, weren't we?
We were indeed, yes.
Do you want to bring everybody sort of up to speed about why and what we were doing?
Oh, it's for the wonderful Baz, who's sadly suffering even more than most of us this lockdown season. I mean, this Christmas season. And anything that we can do to make him feel a little less miserable is probably time well spent. So.
Yeah, I mean, Baz obviously is in rehab now, but not that kind of rehab, the other kind of rehab. In that after his falling down incident and the not being very well incident, he's now having to learn to do things again, get his right-hand side of his body working and
back in basic
speech
training.
and all sorts. He's in sort of major therapy to try and fix stuff at the moment. He's making really fantastic progress. Ali has been giving us updates every couple of days. I was posting updates really regularly, but obviously it starts to get to the stage where Baz did physio again today and he's getting slightly better. So we're waiting for milestones before we put anything sort of big up. There are little mini milestones every single day. He's spending sort of an hour on the bike in the mornings trying to get his fitness back up, and he's been out for a walk, that kind of stuff. Or walk. They pushed him around the park and brought his dog to meet him as well. That was lovely for him that they brought Polly over to see him in the park.
Oh, nice.
He hasn't seen his dog since he had his falling down incident. So, yeah, and we've been putting together videos every now and again. And lots of people, I mean, I know Commander Aiden, you put one together for the first video for us.
Yeah, I took a few photos as I walked from the office back home.
And Deadmeat, you were finding rude names or something, weren't you?
No, not this time. It was I found the only road name that was game related, because we've got a Lara Croft Way in Derby.
And Flossy was beating people up in Beat Saber and yeah. But anyway, Lithobreaker, thank you very much for sending the video over. It's been compiled now and it's been sent over to Ali and Baz, along with messages from such luminaries as, you know, Ed Lewis, Jester D, all sorts have gone over, including a special singing special from Mr. Cow. I may well publish it for public because there's no private details in this one, so we may publish this one in public just so everybody can see the message we sent Baz. But no, thank you, Lithobreaker. And
very well.
There might be onions on the Ed Lewis bit.
Oh yeah, yeah. I watched that one. I was a little bit. Yeah, he got a bit emotional, didn't he?
Yeah, different kind of tears on Cow's bit, but
tears of, I don't know, fear and horror at the end there. And we're joined in the studio by somebody we've spoken to a lot over time, but not very much recently. Taran.
Good afternoon.
Good evening, good afternoon, and a very Merry Christmas to you and yours, Squire.
And you and to all of you as well.
It's absolutely lovely to have you here in the studio. We haven't spoken to you in ages and ages.
No, being it's 12:30 usually when the show starts at my time, it's a little difficult to get on most of the time. So.
Oh yeah, but you're over sort of west coastish, over on the other continent, over that way. That way? Yes. No, that way. I'm pointing the wrong way. Yes, that way.
Well, either way will get you there.
I mean, are you neck deep in snow yet over there? I mean, you're in a cold bit, aren't you, normally?
Yeah, we got some snow the other day, and it won't go away, so I'm very unhappy.
But I mean, are you kind of a pilot who drives a sort of a big SRV? You know, you've got the full Scarab going on with the 4-wheel drive, or are you? As soon as it gets bad, you just shut your front door and tell everybody else to deal with it.
Well, I shut my front door, tell everyone else to deal with it, but I still drive the big Scarab with the 4x4. So. Oh,
you do. You've got the monster truck special.
Well, it's not that big.
Okay, well, compared to most of the cars over here in the UK, that thing, is planet-sized. It's yeah.
Very true.
Well, look, it's absolutely lovely to have you here, and we've got lots of bits and bobs coming up. I mean, we're going to be playing a lot of sketches this evening, where we'll all of a sudden I'll say, your mics are clear, and we can have a private chat in here. If anybody else wants to come and join us, Flossy.
Yes.
And this is for anybody listening on the stream chat on Twitch or on the radio show as well. How might somebody pop in to actually join us and come and say hi for Christmas and wear a silly hat like me and join in with some of the fun this evening? How might they find us and come and sit in the studio here?
Well, if they go to the TeamSpeak channel, I'll just
ts.forthemug.com.
ts.forthemug.com.
ts.forthemug.com. I couldn't remember the exact.
Now that's not a website, is it?
No, it's not a website.
Nope, that's a server address. Server. You need the TeamSpeak application, which you can get from their website, and then you put that in as a server name. There's no password, and you'll arrive in the landing pad. And then once you've landed on your landing pad, you make your way down. If you make your way to the green room, we'll come and grab you. And then we'll drag you into the studio here and say hi. It's very informal, very informal. Now, I do notice that the Banter bus, Baz's Banter bus, is active this evening.
Oh, yes.
I think we ought to be really rude and go the full hollow me and grab the Banter bus people. What do you reckon? Because it's Christmas. Should we grab them before our first sketch?
Well, Rampage will be surprised, but he's been grabbed before, so...
Oh, Rampage is regularly grabbed, usually somewhere delicate that ends him up in hospital.
Just wash your hands after you grab it.
This is a passenger announcement. The 10:30 shuttle to Eden, which was due to depart from B2, will now depart from B1. Passengers are asked to disembark and move to the shuttle at Pad 1.
Okay, well, on that notice, let's grab the shuttle and let's grab them. I'll grab Rampage if somebody else can grab Smokey, and we're going to apologise to them in a second. Here we go.
Shall I also keep grabbing people that appear in the green room?
Yeah, anybody who appears in the green
Yeah.
room, just grab... Oh, is there Goose 4291? Yeah, we
Oh.
got Goose as well. Look, it's a Christmas show, so we're going to do what we like. Good evening, because we've just stolen you out of the banter bus by the magic of Hollow Me.
Hello.
Hello. Good evening, Smokey.
Involuntary wings.
Exactly. Good evening, Smokey, and good evening, Rampage.
Hello.
I know it's very rude of us to grab you into the studio here, but it's Christmas and we're going to do what we feel like. We were just talking about Baz and obviously the banter bus, and we've sent him a video again today and stuff. But we just thought we'd check, how are you? How's Christmas? And which tier are you in?
I'm tier 3.
Hey! Does that mean you're at home doing absolutely nothing but playing on the banter bus?
Correct. So I'm sat here
Awesome.
playing on the banter bus, doing a little bit of bounty hunting with Smokey tonight. We did last
Hang on,
night as well, didn't we,
I think
Smokey?
I've got a picture of you. I'll put a picture of you up on screen. There you go. That's what he looks like in Hollow Me. So you're a bit of banter busing. Are you keeping it nice and tidy for Baz, though?
Yeah, we've got limpets out. We're cleaning it up as we go along.
Right.
It's nice
Awesome.
and tidy.
He was worried it was going to end up on bricks with you lot in charge.
Nah, nothing's on bricks yet. That's next week. We're fine at the moment. We're behaving ourselves.
Oh, that's good. And Commander Smokey, thank you for joining us in the studio. I hope you don't mind us dragging you down here to say hi.
Not at all.
Well, let me just give you a quick volume boost here so people can hear you. I can just about hear you. Here we go. And whoosh, there's a loud Smokey. Let's try that one again. Hello, Smokey.
Hello, everyone.
Merry Christmas, Smokey.
Hey, Merry Christmas.
And go on then. You have to answer the question. How's your Christmas going so far? And which tier are you in?
Christmas okay. I have no idea. I never pay attention.
Basically,
I don't really go out much anyway.
You're at home and enjoying a glass of something.
No, I'm working tomorrow.
Oh, working. You're not delivering presents with some like beardy dude with a floppy hat and silly clothes and a big sleigh, are you at all?
No, I'll be mostly emptying bins and portering beds around.
Oh right. So doing proper job, as they say.
Yeah.
Well, look, as somebody who's never had to work on Christmas, I've worked many. I've worked my wife's birthday, I've worked my own, all sorts, but I've never had to work Christmas Day. You've got my sympathy, but maybe it means you can escape all the usual shenanigans. You know, the argument over the dinner table over who loves Brussels sprouts and that sort of stuff.
Well, I'll get a free Christmas lunch, so it's not all that bad.
Oh, doing it all for a free lunch.
Well, I live at the other end of the country from everyone else, so it's
Where's that then?
It's usually
Vaguely.
a Skype call Christmas Day, Wick, right in the north of
Oh,
Scotland.
the proper north.
Yeah.
The frozen north. I mean, the kind of place that Sean Bean will say winter's coming and walk around with a big sword and a scowl.
Kind of place
the
Psycho
sort of place that never heard of Rome.
Yes.
Or Romans.
What did the Romans ever do for us? Well, they didn't come anywhere near Wick. Yeah, and I think our last guest in the studio this evening is Goose 4291.
All right.
Who's decided you're not a sailor at the moment. You're a landlubber.
Apparently so. Yeah, until February or March at the earliest.
But you just got back from your latest deployment aboard a beluga liner or something.
Yeah, pretty much. I was fuel ratting in real life for the Royal Navy.
Well, that's all right.
On their carriers, yeah.
Well,
all good.
The scenery's good at least, and plenty of movies to keep you company while you were at sea.
Quite right. Yeah, totally.
And
how about yourselves?
We're all peachy here. I mean, it's one of those shows where we were putting on an impromptu show this evening because we hadn't planned anything. So we're just going to mash magic buttons until stuff happens. But well, look, thank you very much for coming to join us. So there's loads of stuff going on here. Welcome to sit here and listen in. We've got now. Is there anything we need to mention at this part of the show that we've forgotten, like birthdays or oh goodness, all the stuff I'd normally look up before a show?
Smokey, there's an elite gunship in the ring. Follow my target.
Right.
Certain
Thank
Mrs.
you.
Pond.
NHS Scotland. They're doing a great job.
No, look, our thanks to all of the NHS staff. Like, Oh, and actually globally as well to all the medical stuff. But, Christmas thanks to anybody working in the NHS at the moment, trying to keep all this stupid mutter of sweary language at bay. And look after everybody. So a big thumbs up from everybody at Hutton to anybody working in any form of medicine and care at the moment, because it's got to be a bit rubbish.
And then you got my mob as well.
Oh yeah, we're keeping everybody combination of safe, healthy, and goodness knows what else. Yeah. Right. Now, I've got buttons in front of me. Somebody cover for me while I find the right buttons. I've got that button there. Now, we've got a series of sketches to do this evening. Some of them are a little bit longer. Some of them you may have heard before. Before I go to our first sketch, does anybody have anything to add? Because I think the first sketch is one from about 3-4 years ago that we did as a Christmas show. So does anybody else have anything to say before we go wassailing for a little bit?
Were we going to mention my secret delayed Christmas present?
Oh, go on then.
Well, for those of you that have the funny box you put on your head that makes you be able to see in 3D.
I was glad you remembered to talk about that one, because yes.
There's a game called Beat Saber that we play in the Hutton Games Room sometimes.
You mean the one that Flossy's awesome at and kills everybody in?
Indeed, yes. Well, she's a bit wild with her lightsabers in the game, and it does sometimes strike someone's head, so you have to be careful.
What, you mean like that?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So yes, it's and for those that don't know, it's basically you're holding two lightsabers and you smash things to tunes. And as you also may know, Hutton truckers have a tune.
We do. Actually, yeah, we do have a tune. And didn't you send me a link to something like this?
I did. Yes,
you did. Now, hang on a second. Have you got it handy?
Oh, I will have it, not immediately.
Well, what I want to know before we go to our sketches for this evening, because it's an impromptu show, I'm going to read some names out from the list of the stream chat here. If you would like to see the Hutton special, Beat Saber special with the Hutton theme tune to Beat Saber, then I'd like to know about it in the stream chat. I'm going to be asking Adamantium 13, Bobby Tarantino, Bograt Chunderman, Commander Claire Helen, Commander Raiden, Commander Root, Deadmeat GF, Fex Lays... No, I'm not. There's something rude there, I'm sure. Fex Layshead, Happy Swodog Jesterdy, Lithobreaker. Oh, you're in here as well. Saddest Kitty, Sharjum, Shoreside Customs. How the heck do you pronounce that? I tell you what, I'm going to need glasses. I'm going to lean forwards. Torms. Oh, Torms. There we go. Thicker and VNK and Virgo Pros. Would you like to see some Hutton Beat Saber before we do the next bit?
Yes.
Yes, what's the tune? Says Happy Swodog. Oh, Happy Swodog. That'd be the Hutton theme tune. That'd be our very own theme song.
For the
me, Smokey.
Yeah, and I understand that our very own Rampage is a bit of a beast at this as well. I've been seeing your scores.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I like a bit of Beat Saber.
Yeah. Now, what I'm going to need to do is actually line up so I can capture the screen and add a thing to the screen to put the Beat Saber up and put the audio live. But do you have it there, Deadmeat, that I can... have you got a link for me? Oh, there we go. Hang on a second. Now, it's probably going to play really rubbishy adverts and all sorts. There's an eye from Sharjum and the Chunderman. Okay, here we go. Now, if I put that...
Would you just caveat that it is COVID year and it's not quite complete yet, but this will be, when it's complete, released to everybody who wants it.
And it's work in progress. So if I do this, and I'm going to do... let's do a window... What do you reckon? Is it a window capture?
I think so, yeah.
Let's do a window capture on a window capture. Here we go. And there's the window capture there. Oh, it's live. Here we go. It's on screen. And because it's a live show, I'm going to have to work out how to do the buttons. You see, professional streamers do this all the time. Oh, there we go. There's a window capture. And let's make it a little bit bigger so you don't get all the rubbishy on the bottom. Now, I'm going to hit play and we'll see if the audio comes out. Can somebody tell me if they can hear it? If not, I'll rewind.
Yeah, it's there.
Coming through clear.
And there we go. Up, down. This is the Hutton theme tune. Beat Saber. Especially for Christmas. Super cruising all across the Milky Way. Now, can somebody tell me if they can see it?
Yeah.
And hear it?
Yeah, I'm seeing it.
It gets harder now. Oh, there's some walls. Mind the walls. Mind the walls. That's a fib. No, Goose 4291. You can't use a blaster. You have to use ancient weapons.
Yeah, I believe Beat Blaster's coming out next year.
Beat Blaster. Oh,
I may have made that up.
You may have made that up. Well, I tell you what. Look,
I'm on the hype train.
You're on the hype train. So basically there is going to be a Hutton Orbital official Beat Saber, well, official by us anyway, Beat Saber special as designed by Deadmeat GF. So when you've finished it, you're going to send out a link, or how are we going to work this?
I'll probably make the file available because it's just a small zip file, really. So I'll make that available in the Hutton group, and hopefully I can do different difficulty levels. And if I can do that, I'll probably upload it to one of the.
So I mean, bearing in mind that obviously Rampage and you were both part ninja at some point. For us mortal human beings, so what we were seeing on screen there is sort of, it's going to raise your heart rate a bit and not kill you.
Yeah, the plan for that one is it's challenging, but everyone can do it. Right. That's kind of the idea. And obviously, if I get a bit of feedback that it's too tricky, I'll tone it down a bit and whatever else. Because that's
Hutton, tone it down a bit.
Yeah, well, no, that's it's more the the Hutton. Everyone should be able to join in.
Does that mean you're missing the squats out? Putting the blocks in so everybody has to do squats to get the blocks and everything? Could you get 100 squats in that tune, I reckon, if you pushed it?
Well, that's the thing. It's kind of once I've got this level done and set at a level that everybody can just about do, hopefully, or at least enjoy, then we can make some harder ones for the competitive people, and we can do an exercise mode if you want.
Well, yeah, I got a bit of a warning there that maybe our audio and video were out of sync there on the Twitch stream. That may be my fault because I don't know what I'm doing and I'm just randomly mashing buttons at Christmas.
That quite often happens if you like stream a streaming service.
But you'll have to imagine the fact that was actually in time with all those blocks, and I'm sure you can publish a video on the Facebook page or something at a later date for those that like their Beat Saber. Flossy, as a Beat Saber pro.
Mm-hmm.
Do you reckon you got this?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
So when we get to a sort of elite feat, and they finally give us no, they don't have lightsabers, do they? Bother. A pan. When they give you a pan, right, you're going to be on it, with it. Oh look, Deadmeat GF has put the link up, youtube.com/. I'm not going to read that out because it's crazy. But yes, that's where we are so far with the Hutton official Beat Saber challenge. We may well launch a competition to get scores as well, Deadmeat.
Yeah, don't see why not.
Yeah, we can launch a competition to see who gets high scores on these things as well. Hands up anybody else here in the live show that has VR and is going to want to give this one a go?
You can't see it, but my hand is up.
Excellent.
I can feel it.
Is that a litho breaker? Yes, as well.
Yeah, it is. And I think that's probably my hand that Deadmeat can feel.
Oh.
My hand is up.
I was surprised at how large Emilia's hands were, so yes, it probably is.
Hello, love. Do you come here?
Anyway, so I just had to push that one. Oh, crikey.
10:30 shuttle to Eton, which was due to depart from
It's all gone
B2,
wrong.
will now depart from B1. Passengers
How
are
many
asked
buttons did you push?
Oh, crikey! 2 announcements at once in one ear. That really messed me up. Right, okay. Are we ready for our first sketch of the show? Now you've got to.
Yeah.
There's about 3-4 minutes here, so you can go and get a drink if you want. Oh, actually, we had a break into the studio. Commander Chix, come in. Commander
My target,
Chix.
Conda.
Receiving.
Commander Chix, pad 3 is clear.
Oh, thank you very much.
You are running about half an hour late. No, it's fine. How are you, Commander Chix?
Well, I did doze off on the sofa after dinner.
May that have been a glass of something sort of red and delicious?
Decanted.
Oh, decanted, yes.
I went off-piste.
Well, yeah, I often do that, usually when we start the show. Right. Well, we'll catch up with Commander Chix after this first sketch. Now, I'm just trying to work out which button I'm supposed to push now, because we have no script. We do have a script. Oh, it's this one. It says it's listed under song 1, but it's not. Or is it? Possibly. This is from last year, was it? Or was it the year before? When was the 12 Mugs of Christmas? That was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, well, I'm going to play this. Everybody enjoy yourselves, and we'll be back at the end of this tune.
On the first day of Christmas, Lael asked for me a mug in a lovely mug tree. On the second day of Christmas, Lael asked for me
2 conger eels
and a mug on a fetching mug tree. On the third day of Christmas, Lael got for me
3 brandies, 2 conger eels,
and of course, a mug for the mug on a tree. On the fourth day of Christmas, Lael had for me
4 Indy bourbon, 3 brandies, 2 conger eels,
and a mug in a tree. On the fifth day of Christmas, Lael drank with me
5 evil Jews, 4 Indy bourbon, 3 brandies, 2 conger eels,
and one more mug. On the sixth day of Christmas, Lael asked nicely for
6 bastions,
5 evil Jews, 4 Indy bourbon, 3 brandies, 2 conger eels,
and yet another mug for that tree. On the seventh day of Christmas, we had a little party with
7 cigars burning,
6 bastions,
5 evil Jews, 4 Indy bourbon, 3 brandies, 2 conger eels,
in a mug. The tree is full now. On the eighth day after Christmas, we had
8 queasy
dearie
beers,
me.
7 cigars burning,
6 bastions,
5 evil Jews, 4 Indy bourbon, 3 brandies, 2 conger eels,
and another mug. On the ninth day of drinking, busting for a pee, we had
9 Haley brews,
8 queasy beers,
7 cigars burning,
6 bastions,
5 evil Jews, 4 Indy bourbon, 3 brandies, 2 conger eels,
and a mug and a quick trip at cubicle 3. On the 10th day of Christmas, really, this is silly.
10 mega gin,
9 Haley brews,
8 queasy beers,
7 cigars burning,
6 bastions,
5 evil Jews, 4 Indy bourbon, 3 brandies, 2 conger eels,
And a mug, and one trip to talk to dinosaur. On the 11th day of Christmas,
11 vicious brews,
10 mega gin,
9 Haley brews,
8 queasy beers,
7 cigars burning,
6 bastions,
5 evil Jews, 4 Indy bourbon, 3 brandies, 2 conger eels,
a mug, and a bad case of the DTs. On the last day after Christmas, everyone and me had
12 whole whiskey,
11 vicious brews,
10 mega gin,
9 Haley brews,
8 queasy beers,
7 cigars burning,
6 bastions,
5 evil Jews, 4 Indy bourbon, 3 brandies, 2 conger eels,
and one enormous hangover. Oh, bother. I think I'm going to be ill.
Well, there you go. That was a blast from the past. Now, if you get through that lot and survive, you're a braver man than Cecil. I don't think he was very well after all of that. But we did all of that. If you remember, we actually delivered all of those every single day on the 12 days after Christmas a couple of years ago. The kind of silly stuff that we get up to, you know? Oh, dear. Who else? Anybody else come and joined us yet? obviously, anybody who's in the live studio who would rather clear off and not listen to this nonsense, then do feel free. Get back to Banter Bus, but you're welcome to stay as well. I've taken the jacket off because I was cooked. I was absolutely cooked, and so I'm now down to the silly hat and no silly jacket anymore. Right, what other news do we have? We had a birthday to celebrate that we didn't mention a minute ago. Patisserie Pond.
Yes.
Yes, Mrs. Pond, also known as Mrs. Palantir, also known as... No, I'm not going to say Mrs... his other alter ego. Anyway, is celebrating her 21st birthday again today. And happy birthday to Mrs. Pond, yes. And which is why Palantir isn't here. And he's preparing a sumptuous feast for... well, himself and Mrs. Pond, because they can't have their usual 400 guests in their house this year. But yes, they're celebrating this evening quietly somewhere with a glass of something nice and some good nosh. Mrs. Pond has been baking and sending out delicious goodies to people. Who had delicious goodies sent out by Mrs. Pond?
He did.
Flossy did. Flossy, did you have the alfajores?
I did, yes.
You did. Were they delicious?
They were very nice.
Nom 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 nom. Yes. And who else? Did anybody else get one as well, or did everybody else chicken out?
I think there's a waiting list as well because of availability of ingredients.
I was going to say that.
Yep.
Oh right, so there is a waiting list, yes, because of shortages of things like all the goodies. But I think Rampage, you might be on the waiting list, and Deadmeat as well.
Yes, I think the waiting list isn't just like they're not available. I think they can't fit a truck that size down their drive.
Yeah. But no, thank you very much to the pair of them, and I hope Mrs. Palantir has a wonderful birthday, and obviously if the stream chat want to wish her a happy birthday as well, I'm sure Palantir will be watching it back again at some point. If we feel like uploading this to YouTube afterwards, we might not. Right. Anything else before we do the next sketch? And there's another pee break coming up with the next sketch, and then we're going to speak to Flossy after that with the CCCG news. Anything else? Anything from the audience?
I don't know whether the estimable Commander Wotherspoon is going to do anything about the mugging of Rackham's bar.
No, we haven't got any information on that. We know that the news station, because obviously we hot messed everything, and then they built something new, didn't they? Rackham's. Go on, you know some more details than we do, Commander Aiden.
Yes, seeing as I was the one that went and well and truly mugged it. And yeah, it was a medical mission, so I took with Mercy to make sure that there were proper drinking utensils for Rackham's place.
Oh, plenty of mugs, yes?
Plenty of mugs. I took 50 up, and I took some indie bourbon, some gin, and because we've got access to them, I took some prayer sticks as well.
And Deadmeat GF, I mean, obviously this is somewhere, I think, that kind of space you've been into before when you went to the four corners of the Milky Way. Rackham's is right out there, isn't it?
It's a long way away.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, at least as far as Colonia kind of distance, it's up, isn't it? Rackham's is up.
Rackham's is about 5,500 light years up.
Right, it's up and in though. It's above this. Is it above the centre or is it above us?
No, it's
our
out
audience.
the side.
You can't use phrases like up and in.
Well, you can, especially at Christmas.
Well, you can, but you shouldn't.
Over and out, up and in, yeah. So yeah, Rackham's is a new base right out on the rim, 5,000 up. We can use words like rim as well at Christmas. Anyway, and yes, it's now had booze and gin, and we've hot messed that one as well. Oh, and talking of hot mess, yes, the Antarctic expedition has now entered their mandatory 14-day quarantine in advance of their expedition down to Antarctica, which was until this week the only continent on the planet that hadn't had COVID. Unfortunately, one of the bases did, which is rubbish, but not anywhere where they're going. So yeah, they're in their 14-day quarantine. They've got fuel rat stuff and they've got Canonn Interstellar stuff. More from Canonn later. And they'll be leaving early in the new year to go down to the Antarctic with goodies from both of those groups and a Hutton mug as well to hot mess that again. Oh, sorry, I missed that. Was that Flossy?
No, not me.
Or somebody yelled mug. Right. We're going to our next Christmas sketch now. Aemilia?
Yes.
It's not you. No, sorry, it's not your one yet. This one was done with the Vikings of Valhaling. If you remember Commanders Ramforth and Oxforth from back in the day. We did hear from them today, but they used to regularly join us. They're taking a bit of a sabbatical at the moment, but they did record this sketch for us. So sit back, everybody. And I'm going to try and find the button. Here we go. I'm rusty at this stuff. Is it sketch 1? I think it's sketch 1. Here we go.
Welcome to the Hutton Orbital Festive Pantomime. A visit from Cecil.
'Twas the middle of Yuletide, and all through Valhaling, riots had started, there was screaming and wailing. The Vikings had been drinking since Yule had begun, and nothing was left, not even the rum. Now Oxforth was shouting,
"By Odin's blue beard!"
This is the disaster that Vikings all feared, when what should they hear above those angry screams but a beep and an incoming message on screen.
Incoming priority message.
So up from my throne I arose with a yell, and ran to the console to see what the hell that infernal beeping was, and to clear incoming lines, so the Vikings could order more mead, some gin, and a bottle of wine. I looked at the screen, "You're having me on," and there at the controls of a battered Lacon, a tweed-clothed man, his nose rather red, a glass in his hand, for the mug, his badge said.
"Dear Odin,"
said Oxforth, glancing across at the screen.
"It's Cecil, oh shit. That drink, it's bright green. We're doomed,"
he proclaimed, rolling his eyes.
Don't worry,
said Cecil.
I've been sent with supplies. I've got gin and some whiskey and plenty of mead, barrels of wine, some rum, and all that you need. But I seem to have hit a bit of a snag. I'm lost. What's that smoke? It's making me gag.
From the way that he spoke, I could tell he was pissed, but a brimful Type 9 was not to be missed. I exclaimed, "Stay there! Don't move that space cow! Oxforth, get out there and find him right now!" The radar was showing him on approach at speed. The damage was clear on the video feed. His ship was on fire, Cecil wearing ramlock. He was speeding and hadn't requested to dock. A warning flashed up. A passing space cruiser was drifting in front of Cecil's out-of-control boozer. "Oxforth, divert him, he's going to crash. The station will kill him, the drinks will get smashed."
He sure is,"
said Oxforth in a good Viking growl.
"I'll divert it the only way I know how."
And rammed his hard ass into that ship, which flashed, then blew up, after performing 3 flips. Gun ports blazed red, the station let rip. Oxforth shouted,
"That's it, I'm ejecting. I've diverted that ship."
As Cecil's Type 9 barreled in through the rack, clipping the letterbox with a sickening crack. I warned him, "Slow down, the ship won't pit in."
"Oh bugger, hang on, I've just spilled my gin."
"I've allocated you space down there on pad 3.
"I know, but the problem is I can't really see."
The Lacon hit hard with no landing gear, bumped into the tower causing metal to shear, and out from the hold canister started to spew. The crash had opened more than a few.
"I say,"
muttered Cecil,
"I'm rather contrite. Clearing this mess up will take half the night."
"You bastard," said I, "just look at this mess."
"Yes, my poor flight suit. I peed, I confess."
I looked at the docking bay covered in drink. It's Yule, no one's hurt, and Oxforth's alive, well I think. That sad drunken bastard came out to Valhaling to bring us some booze so we could continue wassailing. Drinking booze by the liter from a mug as you fly is a guaranteed way to earn a rebuy. So all's well that ends well, and this is a firm warning that drinking like that leaves you rough in the morning. However, this Yuletide, the Vikings were saved by a drunk with a mug and a cheery old wave. Good Yuletide to all, and to all a good Yule. That's how Cecil saved Vikings, the silly old fool.
Appearing in A Visit from Cecil were the Hutton Orbital performers. Joe Eskell as Ramforth, a Viking of Valhaling. Chris as Oxforth, his brother. Cecil as himself. Commander Ventura as the hapless passing ship. Commander Wotherspoon as the station noise. And of course, Alvin Deefer as himself. And let that be a lesson to everybody as well. Yes, never fly while not paying attention to your controls. Right, we're back. We've had a lovely message in from Millstone Barn. Thank you very much. Can anybody else see the message there on the Twitch chat? I'm going to pick on Commander Chix. Commander Chix, would you like to read that out for us?
So Millstone Bar tells us, Merry Christmas to truckers, friends and everybody on here. From me, and if I may, from Ed's 38 too. It's been a tricky year, but Hutton Orbital has helped us get through it. Thank you for everyone's friendship and support, in-game and out. 07.
Oh, shucks. Oh, I feel all warm and fuzzy now.
Fuzzy.
Thank you very much, Millstone Bar. No, it's our absolute pleasure to do all this nonsense that we do every single week. Not just on the radio show, but throughout, every day and every week, putting events on. Whether it's Rampage. Last year, obviously, what's his commander name? The Andrew Soislands. Is he commander?
Malice XR3.
That's the one, Malice XR3, who is the new hot boss as well. So for Team Hotbox, but also for the PC and PS4 teams as well. It's been an absolute pleasure to have everybody throughout the year keeping us company during lockdown. And lots of hearts and well-said MSBs from Jean Belo as well and everybody. Right, Flossy, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Now, I've got a button here marked Flossy. I don't know which tune it is. So we're going to have lucky dip on this one. Shall I just press it? I'm good, Flossy.
Press it.
I'm going to poke you. Here we go. Ready?
Oh, wow. It's that one.
It's this one, yes. Our mics are still live. Feel free to sing along if you want.
Your home station's burned rubble. What on earth can we do when your faction leader's a dog and your daily tasks are a slog? You're feeling like a used cog. What on earth can we do now?
Interstellar initiatives.
Flossy, tell you what it is, then you can get involved with it.
There's a reason we let Cow do all the singing, because I can't.
Interstellar initiatives. Flossy tells us what she thinks it is, then you can get involved with this. Now you should listen to what Flossy says. Listen to what Flossy says.
Oh, there's still another 40 seconds.
What can we do?
No. It's the full one. Christmas special.
What if she talks nonsense?
She never talks nonsense.
Initiatives, let Flossy tell you what it is, then you can get involved with this. You should listen to what Flossy said. Now we heard what Flossy said. We can put this matter to bed. Just keep a voice in your head. Flossy told you what to do.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Ready to go, Flossy. Take it away.
Hello, Flossy here with this week's CG or Interstellar Initiatives or whatever CCCG this week. Right, there's more CGs this week. The next one will be sometime in the new year. Going for Goal 2 is continuing to progress well, with another small rise in totals contributed following a period of slightly slower progress, with a total of 167,528,145,589 as of a couple of hours ago. Current top 5 places are Chix with over 78.1 billion, Duckface with over 8.9 billion, Montgomery Python over 8.8 billion, Evo Flash with 6.3 billion, and Marco 2612 5.3 billion. Don't forget that the 3 times bonus at Betancourt Base in the Muscadark region, PJ-PB6-1, is until sometime tomorrow. But best get it in by midnight tonight to be sure, or possibly overnight for the night shift. And that's it for this week's CCGGCGII news.
Thank you very much, Commander Flossy. Hang on. Have I got an out? Oh no, I've got an out music.
Flossy told you what to do.
Just like that. So Flossy, if you're telling us what to do, basically you've got till tomorrow to get your data in for the Betancourt base bonus.
Yes.
Which is 3 times, and then we don't.
Sometime tomorrow. We don't know when exactly.
Yeah. Because
is that a buttery biscuit Betancourt base?
Oh, a buttery biscuit Betancourt base. Yes. Oh, I wish I had that on a button here on the decks. The buttery biscuit Betancourt bento ball base. Yes. Right.
Now I want butter biscuits.
Oh.
Shortbread, preferably.
Oh my goodness, shortbread. And talking of a nice petticoats. No, I'm talking of proper Scottish shortbread as well. Talking of that, obviously the team we did dispatch a cow to cow this week because obviously the cow retired from the show, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, we do miss our cow.
We do very much. Yeah.
But what do you do when you've retired? You
put your feet up.
You put your feet up. So what did we get him?
Something to put his feet
up.
up.
A footstool, yes. A cow-shaped tartan footstool to put his feet up. So, Mr. Cow, we miss you terribly. And your singing is a big part of the show because we can't sing, or I can't sing anyway. But yes, so we did send on behalf of everybody on the radio show and the listeners and everybody else a little present to put his feet up on, which is a tartan cow to put his feet up on to relax in his retirement.
Happy Cowmas.
Happy Cowmas to the cow, yes. We did have the usual delivery shenanigans and the ongoing sagas of various delivery shenanigans. They photographed somebody's door and said we left it in the porch. But he did track it down. He found his cow. He's fine. Right, I think I've got the next one. I'm gonna kill the camera now because I think I've got the next one lined up. Aemilia, is it you introducing the next one for us?
Yes, well, we're about to go over to our sports results, but first we have a message from Canonn.
Right, now I'm going to push this button, and I'm hoping the audio comes out without double echo, so somebody please shout at me if I've got it wrong, but I'm going to push this button now. Special report from Canonn.
Hello, truckers and science fans. It's me, LCU Low Fool Like One. Welcome to the Gnosis, where I'm hosting a special Christmas broadcast. Normally, I don't bother celebrating this pointless ancient Earth tradition. However, Dr. R. Canonn insisted that I get into the festive spirit and do a special broadcast, or I'd not have my funding renewed next year. He also allowed me the use of his spacious, well-appointed stateroom. So here I am, wishing you a very Merry Christmas and so forth. This year, instead of eating my traditional meal of rehydrated powdered nutrients on my own, I shall be cooking a full traditional dinner for myself and my assistant Igor, using ingredients that I've brought back from my xenobiology research. I shall be cooking a boiled ham analogue, using brain tree glazed with Fargoid resin jam, served with all the trimmings. I'm sure it will be eye-watering. I came up with this recipe when I was marooned in a Braintree forest for several weeks. You need to pick a piece of Braintree smaller than your SRV, preferably one that will fit in a pan along with a sizable chunk of bronzite, chondrite and water. The cooking time can vary. This one has been boiling for 2 weeks. It's easy to tell when it's ready. If you can push a fork through the bronze chondrite, then the Braintree is ready. This one needs a little longer. Now, while we're waiting for the Braintree to finish boiling, let's prepare the delicious Thargoid resin jam for the glaze. To make this delicious jam, I'm using equal quantities of... we appear to have an uninvited guest. Just one moment while I see who it is.
Fool!
Commander Maracas, Merry Christmas.
Don't you marry me, fool! You're in trouble now. Someone's been stealing hexed from stores again, fool.
Whatever do you mean?
Someone say you hanging around.
Surely there's some misunderstanding. I would never steal hex-edit from stores. Why don't you join us? Igor, fetch Commander Maracas some of that special coffee.
I ain't drinking no coffee, fool. It's probably where you put the hex-edit.
Oh, perhaps I could offer you some eggnog instead?
Eggnog? I love eggnog.
Igor, fetch Commander Maracas some eggnog. But not too much, it's strong stuff.
At once, Master.
Stop calling me Master, you're not an Imperial slave anymore.
Of course, Master. That's damn fine eggnog.
Oh yes, it's my own special recipe. Now, Commander Maracas, please explain what you think is going on.
I'll tell you what's going on, fool. What am I doing here?
You wanted to try my eggnog.
Yeah, that's damn fine eggnog.
You wanted to tell me that they made an accounting error in stores and everything is fine.
That's right, fool. Everything's fine. Is there more eggnog?
No, I think not. I wouldn't want you to overdose. Why don't you go back to your room and have a little lie down?
Okay, fool. But I'm watching you.
I'm sorry about that rude interruption, listeners. That was Commander Maracas, head of security. I don't think he'll be bothering us again. Now, where was I? Oh yes, the glaze for the Braintree. It's easy to make a delicious Thargoid resin jam. Just use equal quantities of Neuritis berries and sugar, mixed with a small quantity of Thargoid resin. You can use any other kind of soft fruit instead of Neuritis berries, but I find the iron content of these carnivorous plants add a certain sumptuousness to the dish. Place the berries, sugar and resin into a wide-mouthed preserving pan over a very low heat, stirring every so often until the sugar has completely dissolved. It's important to have the heat low so that the sugar dissolves rather than melts and sticks to the pan. Of course, it's important to use a corrosion-resistant pan when working with Thargoid resin, as it does have quite a kick. Igor, please go and put that in a pan and put it on the stove.
Yes, Master.
Stop calling me Master in front of the listeners. Call me, just call me Commander.
Yes, Commander.
Let's leave that to dissolve while I prepare the rest of the accompaniments for our Christmas meal. This year, I have a very rare and special treat. A new biological growth has been discovered in the mountains of Embeth, LW-W E1-291CA. The tube worm is a long pink growth, rather reminiscent of a terrestrial tube worm. First, give your tube worms a wash in alcohol. I like to use Alpha Centauri Megagin. They're very tough-skinned and slimy, so you need to give them a massage to tenderize them. It's very relaxing once you start to build up a rhythm. Long, regular strokes. For those of you who only have audio, you'll have to leave it up to your imagination. Ah, yes, it's ready now. And it's going very soft. Once you've tenderized your tube worm, you can just pop it on a baking tray to roast. Igor, why are you clattering about?
I'm looking for a spoon, Master. The one I was using has dissolved.
Please, can you try to keep the noise to a minimum? People won't be able to hear the music. Ah, yes, viewers, the music. My colleagues at the Miskatonic University Music Department have provided these traditional recordings of Terran Christmas carols performed by the H.P. Lovecraft Historical Society. Some superstitious nonsense about the elder gods and such like. I believe that the early humans would sit at home listening to these songs and quaking in fear. Come to think of it, it doesn't sound very jolly. Now then, what Christmas roast would be complete without parsnips? Well, this one will have to, because we haven't got any parsnips. But we do have something that looks similar. Cordyceps growths. First, you should peel them with an industrial laser, and then smother them in butter made from azure milk. Arrange them in your roasting tray with the tube worms, and finally pour out a liberal measure of Alpha Centauri gin, which you should carefully pour down your throat, as you're not going to want to be sober for this meal. Our final accompaniment for the meal is analogous to butternut squash. We have carefully selected a small space pumpkin. To prepare these, I usually cut them into small cubes ready for roasting. They should be small enough to swallow whole. Another thing I like to do to prepare for these is to put a little pepper spray of the kind used for crowd control and spray it on my tongue. Space pumpkin tastes bloody awful with the pepper spray, but you certainly don't want to try it without it. If you can't find any pepper spray, then you should try some CS gas instead. Now the brain tree should be ready for glazing. Igor, why is the jam smoking like that? Has the sugar dissolved yet?
Yes, Master. The sugar has dissolved.
Then bring it over here so we can glaze the roast.
I can't, Master. The pan has dissolved as well.
Igor, I told you to use the pans that Professor Palin sent me.
I'm sorry, Master. Please don't send me out to the Thargoids again. It was so cold
that's funny,
and
Igor.
dark.
He's just having a little joke. Of course I wouldn't put him in an escape pod and let the Thargoids have him. Shut up, Igor. He's just joking. Shut up! Shut up! Don't listen to him.
Hull break detected in Depth 7.
Oh, what's happening now?
Corrosive substance detected in engineering.
Ah, Igor, I have to go to the escape pod. Would you tidy up, please?
Evacuate.
Well, viewers, unfortunately the Christmas dinner is ruined and the Gnosis has been evacuated. I understand that it may be safe to re-enter the ship by Christmas. Fortunately, the waste recycler in my escape pod makes a more palatable meal than my Thargoid dinner, so it's not a complete disaster. Have a happy holiday.
Welcome to the last Hutton Sports Report of 3306. The Hutton Sports Report is sponsored by the Hutton Helper, the only third-party resource to come with a free Christmas dinner in a tin. The final events of the year are the The Follow the Christmas Star, it's already been discovered and mapped, Cross Galaxy Rally Stage 24. The Christmas in a Lorry Park, cooking all the fish from the back of your trailer on a disposable barbecue endurance trial. The Letter to Santa, or deliver 2 tons of bio-waste, or waste someone challenge. The Family all buggered off and left you in the house to yourself, Kevin McAllister Shield. The Now I Have a Machine Gun, Ho Ho Ho, John McLean Cup. The Polar Express all the way to Beagle Point long distance race. In the Follow the Christmas Star bid, it has already been discovered and mapped, Cross Galaxy Rally Stage 24. It was a close one, but Cometborn nosed ahead for the win. The Christmas in a Lorry Park, cooking all the fish from the back of your trailer on a disposable barbecue endurance trial, has been extended to the new year, so no result yet. We haven't told the competitors. The Letter to Santa, or deliver 2 tons of bio-waste, or waste someone challenge has been cancelled, as we're not allowed out. The Family all buggered off and left you in the house yourself, Kevin McAllister Shield, was comprehensively won by Alex Zuno. Happy Christmas, you filthy animal. The Now I Have a Machine Gun, Ho Ho Ho, John McLean Cup saw Bicarb crawling through the air vents in his bare feet and a dirty vest to win the cup. The Polar Express all the way to Beagle Point long distance race has been postponed due to gourd molluscs on the line. This just in, the Hutton Helper has generated some late finishing mining stats for the first time ever, and the winner is Antares Fusion. Hang on a minute. No, there's been a steward's inquiry and he has been defenestrated. The Budget Clones for You Rebuy League has shown some late points gathering for RPG 7777, closely followed by Core Badger. So, follow the yellow brick road. Every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings, and Muppets score double. The classified results are Cometborn 62, Zebedian 57, Jetard Beryl 49, Old Ed 30, Sky Monster 267, Agnes Nutter 234, she probably knew that, Alex Zuno 1377, Attic 2 243, Bicarb 864, Alex Zuno 151, Shattermage 982, Sky 725, RPG 77775, Cord Badger 3, Brecon City 2, and Struther 1, Glenbuck Cherry Pickers 1, Fuckabers 4, Hutton Academicals 4, Wise 0855-0714 Harriers 3. No one qualifies for a decal this week. We have 5 Hutton runs on the Helper this week, but sadly no one was under 1 hour 24 minutes. Are you tired of trying to convince everyone that Lethal Weapon is a Christmas movie? Are you still waiting on the Amazon man delivering that last minute present? Have you been told to stay out of the bloody kitchen? Just go to Hot for the Mug and sign up for the Hutton Helper, and this time next week you could be getting ready for an early night, cause New Year's not the same as it used to be. But this year you could do it with a Hutton decal attached to your ship. Let's face it, anything has to be better than dried out turkey in a game of charade. And that's it from me for 3306. Back to the studio.
Right, okay, I'm going to pick on somebody now. Who's got sight of the script? Deadmeat. You got sight of the script. You can do the thanks and the doobry for that one.
Thank you. Couldn't apology, officer. I was going to do it, but it's not that.
Go on. What does it actually say in the script there? It says square
Thank
brackets.
you, reader of Sports Report. Intro for advert and Galnet Food Digest. Poem from Evenstar.
Yes, so thank you very much, the apology officer. And now we have a little advert, and we've also got a video coming up as well, which is another one from LCU No Fool Like One before we go into the Galnet Food Digest. I mean, we feel, Aemilia, that your food digestion has been warmed up nicely now by that previous one.
I've told you to think about what you say. You can't say we feel Aemilia.
I'm sorry. I'm in big trouble now, aren't I?
I've had worse.
Well, not with this many people in the studio. You can't anyway.
Anyway, so yes, we've got a little. Now this is a funny one. We were digging through earlier, like all the previous Christmas things, and we found from 2018 a complete set of audio files, and we can't work out whether we ever stuck them together or not into a Christmas sketch. So I've just sort of dug out a few bits and bobs on this one, and we found this little gem from Commander Evenstar from back in the day. 2018, also known as 3304.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the one, 3304. Thank you, Lithobreaker. So we're going to play that, and we're going to play one more by LCU, and then we're going into this week's Galnet Food Digest. I'm hoping the buttons work, so we want this one.
I found myself an asteroid as perfect as could be. I thought I'd keep it as a pet and take it home with me. I made it some pyjamas and a pillow for its head, and stuffed it full of seismic charge and blew it up instead.
'Twas the night before Thargmus, when all through the vessel not a creature was stirring, not even a trumble. Meta-alloys were hung by the exhaust cone with care, in hopes that the Thargoids soon would be there. The boffins were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of brain trees danced in their heads. Our cannon in tinfoil, and I in my cap, had settled our brains for a long winter's nap. When out on the deck there arose such a clatter, I sprang from the bed to see what was the matter. Away to the airlock I flew in a flash, tore open the doors. Oh, that was quite rash. The moon on the breast of the planet below gave the lustre of midday to objects below, when what to my wondering eye should appear but a hideous hydra, and 8 scouts drew near. With a little old Thargoid so lively and quick, I knew in a moment it must be annoyed with the ship. More rapid than eagles his coursers they came, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name. Berserker, Marauder, Inciter, Regenerator, Marauder, Marauder, Inciter, Berserker. To the top of the ship, to the top of the bridge. Now fire away, fire away, fire away all. As dry leaves that before the wild hurricane fly, when they meet with an obstacle mount to the sky, so up to the ship the scouts they flew, shooting red lasers and firing green goo. And then in a twinkling I heard on the hull the pewing and mewling of each little scout. As I drew in my head and was turning around, down the exhaust cone the hydra came with a bound. It was coloured in green from its eyes to its petals. Its skin was all tarnished with scars on its petals. A bundle of tharglets emerged from its back, and it looked like they must have come out of his crack. His eye, how it twinkled, his lasers, how merry. His petals were like roses, his eye like a cherry. His little protuberances begun to glow, and the lightning he fired was bright yellow. An escape pod he held tight in his beam, and the green light encircled his head like a wreath. He had a translucent carapace filled with indistinct things that he shook when he bellowed. My knees turned to jelly. He was alien and green, a grotesque mandala, and I cried out when I saw him in spite of myself. A wink of his eye and a twist of his head soon gave me to know I had plenty to dread. He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work, and fired all his weapons, then turned with a jerk. Braying and shaking he spun up his petals, and giving a nod to the stars up he rose. He opened a wormhole, to his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew like the down of a thistle. But I heard him exclaim, here he drove out of sight.
Good evening. This is Aemilia Hawke reporting for the Galnet Food Digest. I try the galaxy's most rare and dangerous foods, so you don't have to. As it's a festive show this evening, instead of visiting a new world, I've invited some of the rares of the galaxy to come and visit us here at Hutton. Master chefs are a peculiarity of the Empire, selected based on their genetic disposition to awesome gastronomy. They're kidnapped as children and trained in the culinary arts. By the time they're out of their teenage years, julienning things, the art of the perfect sous vide, and an understanding that steak can only be cooked at 2 levels, perfect and ruined, are just a small part of their repertoire. From towering marvels of confectionery and icing through to the most delicate of fine dining, master chefs are quite brilliant. They are, of course, outlawed everywhere but the Empire, as slavery is frowned upon by any civilized society, toga-wearing or not. Just occasionally, one of them escapes from the training kitchens at Virkocha and makes their way in the galaxy, free of servitude, and more importantly, free to bring their skills to anyone they choose, which of course usually happens to be the highest bidder. I consider myself very lucky then that one has agreed to prepare a Christmas feast for me here at Hutton. He started with a Balthazine vacuum krill cocktail, complete with dried Ochoang pepper spiced Mary Rose sauce. For our second course, he's whipped up a light and airy Doringus truffle foam topping for a Diso Macorn cracker. And then, on to the main. You may remember that in a previous episode, we went to visit Apiornis to try the incredibly rare elephant bird eggs. The chef has gone one stage further and brought us a whole bird. Brought in by a Type 9 and ferried to the station through one of the larger cargo access ports, even in 0G, this thing is monstrous. I don't think I've ever seen a bird as big as this one. Our master chef, Anton, brined the bird for 3 days in the station swimming pool, complete with his own mixture of herbs and spices. Every morning he swam out to it with a giant ladle and liberally ensured that it was well seasoned both inside and out. Then followed an experience that I won't soon forget. The stuffing. Anton's a small man, and these birds are large enough that you can stand inside them. Forget trying to fill the cavity with your traditional sausage, or even stuffing bowls in there until it's full. This needs the whole hog. In fact, a whole herd of pigs. He's been at the mincing machine for days, and I've been in and out of that bird time and again with this heavy equipment. But finally, he stuffed it properly. Then comes the roasting. This bird is so large that traditional ovens won't fit it. But he's devised his own method. He's using a discarded engine from the rear of a diamondback. The stuffed bird is lowered into the engine, and then it's set to a low heat for a day or so, before finally engaging the afterburners to crisp up the outside ready for serving. Apiornis elephant birds have a dark, rich meat, full of fats, and the resulting roast is crispy on the outside and mouth-wateringly tender on the inside. Served with traditional vegetables, carrots sautéed in butter, and fresh herbs, potatoes that are crispy on the outside but like little fluffy clouds in the middle, and of course, Disoma cornflour bread sauce. This is a Christmas feast that, whilst traditional, tastes like no other. If you've left room for dessert, then there's a selection of sweets, from the Thrutus cream from last week through to the Arucan conventional sweets, and even a hand-whisk Apiornis egg meringue that's the size of your average sidewinder. The biceps on this chef are something to behold. Master chefs are rare. They're very special, and Anton here is a wizard in the kitchen. But, you ask, where's the danger this week? Well, I'll be honest. The most dangerous thing about our rare here is the one caused to my waistline. This is Aemilia Hawke of the Galnet Food Digest. I'm looking forward to an oeuf pouche murette for breakfast. Made with the finest Chateau d'Aron wine and my eggs pink poached to perfection. In the meantime, I've spent the year trying all the galaxy's rarest and most dangerous foods, so you don't have to. But just this once, I've met a master chef, and it was an absolute delight.
Thank you very much, Aemilia. Oh, that sounds absolutely delicious. I mean, it's a bit of a toss-up between you and LCU for the Christmas dinner over at Hutton Orbital this year. I mean, your master chef, Anton.
It's about time. For Christmas, about time we had something so good.
You haven't been poisoned. You haven't got, like, mushrooms growing in your brain. You've not ended up eaten by dangerous turtles,
which is always a plus.
The most danger you've got there is possibly having to loosen your waistband a little bit after one of those lunches. I mean, those birds are big, aren't they?
They are massive, so big.
I mean, the eggs they lay you can use as houses. I mean, when that one detonated during the review you did previously, I mean, it took out most of a town.
Yes,
they microwaved it and it went off and took it. I mean, when I say these birds are big, I mean they need the Type 9, don't they?
They do indeed.
I mean, I've never weighed one of them, but and the sight of Anton there stuffing this bird repeatedly.
He's a very short man.
He is, and it took a lot of effort to fully fill that bird. But he achieved it, and I mean the cooking, those engines on the back of the Diamondback. I mean, who'd have thought to use one of those engines, the big round ones on the back of a Diamondback?
I know, right? It's ingenious.
The man's a wizard. He's an absolute wizard. So everybody else, before we go on, I mean, our last sketch tonight is 38 minutes long. It is the full Hutton Christmas Panto. So we're going to have a little chat now with everybody. We're going to hit play on the Hutton Panto, and then we'll come back at the end to play the traditional Hutton tune. But before we go, so Commander Rampage.
Hello.
What delights from the rares of the galaxy are you indulging in over the next couple of days?
Lots of Megagen.
Lots of Megagen.
Megagen and more Megagen.
You're having a liquid lunch?
Oh, yes, definitely. I think there may be some terrestrial foods in there, but it will be, yes, Megagen, definitely.
Excellent. And Commander Raiden, how about you? How is your rare platter looking for Christmas this year?
Well, I've been supplying the Megagen to both my mother and my sister, so I can be quietly off drinking some rum.
No, I have to say thank you very publicly as well for the random disagreement I had with a delivery person on my front doorstep.
Yes, well, I think that was probably the best way to make sure he was actually going to give it to you, rather than so you would have a different variety of disagreement than your usual.
Yeah, I mean there was definitely, I've not had to use ID or any kind of identification for anything since March, and have somebody knock on my door and said, I need to see some ID, mate, for delivering a parcel that I hadn't ordered for myself. As well, I've got no idea where it is. Well, I need to check that you're over 18. And for those of you watching on camera, I don't know, I mean the beard's a good disguise. And it has gone grey in places as well. But no, he did need to see the paperwork. And having seen the paperwork, he then had to ask my name, to which point my sense of humour gave out. And I said, well, it was on the paperwork I just showed you.
Yeah.
But at the end of it, there was a beautiful rum. So personal thanks from me. Thank you very much indeed for sending that over. It did make my arm feel a lot better, at least. Well, I haven't touched it yet, but just the thought of the rum made my arm feel better.
Yes, well, I did check in with the... His Eminence's aide-de-camp, just to make sure that to sense check it. So
it's an exceptional. Was that one of the ones you had at ECM 2 years ago?
No, it wasn't. No, I had.
I'm sure you and I have shared a glass of this. Anyway, well, it was a wonderful present, and look, thank you very, very much for sending it over. And I will be enjoying a glass of it over the Christmas period. Next on the list, Aemilia.
Yes.
Do you have any ideas which rares? I mean, I'm imagining because you've tried all these ridiculous, dangerous things over the previous, well, goodness knows how many months you've been doing this. You're going for something traditional, aren't you? Like old Earth food.
Old Earth food. Well, with the exception of maybe smearing everything in Ochuang chili paste, because that stuff rocks.
Oh, I did see. Oh, you did put up a picture the other day of. It was very orange, your picture, but it was Cajun
That was
spice with Ucheng
Cajun
chilies.
spice, yeah.
Yes.
Cajun spice, jumbo prawns with stir fried pepper and
I'm salivating.
spring onions
Oh.
with roast sweet potatoes, which have been dusted with Cajun.
If it wasn't for all these tears, we'd be saying, right, it's going to be dinner at your place over Christmas, and you and your better half can cook.
Cajun. We just fancied Cajun, so we kind of like smeared everything in Cajun and stir fried it and roasted it, and it was good.
Now, Commander Smokey did tell us a short while ago that it was free lunchtime.
Free
Yeah,
lunchtime?
I'll get a free Christmas lunch.
And your traditional old Earth kind of lunches, yes?
Yes.
All the trimmings and
kind of
gloppy gravy over the whole thing.
Yeah, sadly no alcohol.
No, but you'll be making up for it on Boxing Day, I hope.
I'll be making it for it that very evening. Yes.
All right. Well, look, really do enjoy yourself and enjoy your rare foods over Christmas. Deadmeat GF, how about you?
Well, I've taken a trip out to Leasty to get some Azure milk so I can make some delicious cheese.
We've not reviewed the Azure milk yet, or Aemilia hasn't, have you?
I'm not sure I'd drink it neat, but turned into a cheese, I'm fairly confident.
Well, when they say blue cheese, they mean literally completely blue.
Yes.
Yeah. Have you noticed though there are no cheeses available for sale on the Galaxy? You have to buy your own milk and make your own.
Yes, I had to search for cheese and I couldn't find it, so I thought, milk might do, and I was lucky.
Right. Everybody who's over in the Twitch chat and stream chat as well, don't forget to petition the Pilots Federation to introduce cheese back to the Galaxy, because we need baby cheeses at Christmas.
We do need baby cheeses.
That bad? Yes. I'm sorry, I did that one. That was terrible.
Also, just to take people's minds off that joke, I do still have a significant amount of my bottle from my birthday left. So that will be my Earth-based treat.
More rum, yes. Commander Flossy, then. Yeah. Is the wrong way treating you to rare goods for Christmas?
Oh, yes. He'll be cooking our dinner and things like that.
So. Okay, but to Brussels sprout or not to Brussels sprout? That is the question.
Definitely, yes.
As they come steamed, boiled, sautéed with bacon?
Oh, I don't know. I'll have to wait and see what he does. Possibly.
You're being
Brussels sprouts.
Spoiled rotten. Obviously, anybody else has any rare goods that are going to be discovered? Oh, adamantium 13. There is a byproduct of dragon brew, which could be considered a type of. I don't want to know about the dragon brew cheese. Crikey! But thank you, adamantium 13. Now, did I see adamantium 13 have been attempting to break themselves? I think I saw something online that adamantium 13 wasn't made of adamantium recently, unless I've completely mixed people up. Anyway, Goose 4291. Now that you're shoreside again.
Yes.
Any rares for Christmas?
Just the usual.
The usual.
Head here and there.
With maybe a glass or two of your favourite.
I may or may not be drinking a bottle of port right now by myself.
Oh, it's the only thing I don't have in the house is port at the moment. And Lithobreaker.
I have been gifted a bottle from Tennessee, a bottle from Kentucky, and a bottle from the Isle of Islay.
So you're joining the Rampage.
What I remember of Christmas is going to be excellent.
By the way, listener, everybody please behave sensibly when you consume a Centauri Mega Gin and the equivalents thereof, and don't injure yourselves, will you? We might, but only gently. And Commander Tyron, I mean, you're a fan of the sort of the giant sort of roasted meats and barbecued goods, aren't you?
Well, not so much the barbecue goods, but the 20 is currently in the oven for tonight, and I'm looking forward to some vodka and some whiskey and some
So
bourbon and
I think the
some
outcome here is
beers.
Hutton Truckers.
Oh wait,
I mean the edibles, not the yes, not the
Definitely a
not the
theme here,
sauce.
isn't
No. Well, look, thank you very much, everybody who's here in the on-air room. Obviously, we're going to hit go on the next sketch now. Before we go, it would remains for us to say, look, everybody, it's been a ridiculous year, and we've got another show coming up on New Year's Eve, and we're gonna say a bit more about this. But it's been a ridiculous year. So those of you that are with your family, then really enjoy it. Those of you that are stuck at home and can't see them, try and Zoom, try and call people, try and find somebody that you haven't spoken to in a while, and give them a shout and check that they're all right, because Christmas is crazy this year. It really is. Everybody's going to be feeling a little bit lonely, a little bit odd. So do pick up the phone, pick up your email, and send somebody a message over Christmas, and just check they're all right and wish them the very best, as we do to every single person watching and listening this show. I'm actually very glad we got to do the show this evening. I don't know about the rest of the crew.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, yeah,
Definitely,
yes.
We weren't going to do this, and I'm massively glad that we had our arms twisted and we've done this evening. It's been an absolute pleasure to join everybody on Christmas Eve, unless of course it's the Australians, in which case it's probably tomorrow now and they've had their lunch already. Right. Well, look, thank you very much for the mug from us. I'm going to say a couple of words before we go out at the end of this bit, but sit back and Aemilia, I think you're introducing this one. But you don't have to say it out loud because you did it last time and it's recorded.
Yeah,
Possibly.
just press the button.
Just press the button. And for the mug, and we'll catch you later.
For the mug. Good evening, listener. Welcome to the Hutton Christmas play by the Hutton Orbital performers. This year, we'll be performing A Christmas Mug, with sincere apologies to Charles Dickens.
Among other public buildings in a certain planetary installation, which for many reasons it'll be prudent to refrain from mentioning, and to which I'll assign no fictitious name, there is one anciently common to most towns, great or small, to wit, a workhouse. And in this workhouse were made, on a day and date which I need not trouble myself to repeat, inasmuch as it can have been no possible consequence to the listener, in this stage of the business at all event, the items of mortality whose name is prefixed to the head of this chapter. Inside the domes, covered by a blanket of snow, the population of this far-flung outpost were unusually happy. However, this one particular workhouse, under the sign of the Mug, is the scene of a rather unusual request. There's a smattering of dissent amongst the poor and wretched specimens that inhabit its walls, pilots young and old who were without a mug of their own. These unfortunates could not afford even a shit-tier mug, and were forced to work 14 hours a day processing biowaste by hand, in order to earn a bowl of gruel made from stale algae, and one day, if they're very lucky, finally earn a small piece of clay, in order they might form a handle to attach to a miserable, cracked cereal bowl, and claim this as their mug. It is their mealtime. Voices are hushed, as punishments in this place are severe, and no one wants to catch the eye of Mr. Grumble the Beadle, or that of his Momus Bog Spaniel. A young pilot slowly pushes back his chair, picks up the tiny, filthy, cracked bowl that's held his gruel, and slowly makes his way to the front.
Please, sir, I want a mug.
A mug? Master Lemony Twist wants a mug?
Yes, sir, I want a mug. For all I have is a bowl, sir. That is not a mug, and without a mug of my own, I will surely catch mods, sir.
Mods?
Mug ownership deficiency syndrome, sir. It's a terrible thing. Once you have mods, all manner of terrible diseases can befall a person. I have heard of sufferers losing limbs or start denying climate change, which, as everyone knows, is fatal, at least in the long run.
Mugs don't grow on trees, lad.
But what about mug trees?
Shush! You can't just ask for a mug, boy. Mugs must be earned. No commander, no matter how small and how cute, has ever got a mug by asking for one. Mr. Trumpington has almost all of the mugs in the galaxy, but he's still not happy. He did not haul all those mugs all this way just for you to ask for more. And what kind of a name is Lemony Twist, anyway?
Mr. Trumpington owns the workhouse, sir. He named me, sir. Something to do with being easier to remember if it goes with gin. I was luckier than the next boy, Olive Honestick.
Oh, get out, boy. We don't want you and your dangerous ideas on the equality of mug ownership infecting the others in this place. Oh, before you go, it's a foul night. Let me check the weather. Yes, it's snowing. Out you go, then.
Here.
Me?
Yes, you. Come in here. Out the snow.
What is this?
It's an old SRV people carrier that the president used in the last election. Can't you see on the side where it says, "We send 20,000 mugs a day to the Thargoids. Vote for me and they can all be ours." Except that ours is crossed out and mine's been painted over the top.
Who are you?
I'm the Artful Bodger. I work for an old scrote called Fakin, and we make money by selling bespoke Hutton mugs.
Fake mugs, you mean?
No, not fakes as such, more homages, as you might say. We also sell some on Galbay and Bitsy.
But that's against the spirit of the mug. It only helps the person selling them. It's not for charity.
That's it, look out. Ooh, here comes a punter now. Hello, sir. Nice night, sir.
Is it? How can it be? You're obviously poor. I bet you haven't got a mug to your name, and you probably lie awake dreaming of cups.
That's where you're wrong, sir. I have here a selection of the finest Hutton mugs, sir. Genuine articles. Look, they say for the mug and everything. Only 50 credits, and I'm cutting my own throat.
Bah, fake mugs. Get away with you, and keep your hands off my hip flask. I know your sort.
Marky was a hollow-me, to begin with. There's no doubt whatever about that. The register of his digitization was signed by a clergyman, the mission giver, the bondsman, and the chief engineer. Cecil signed it, and Cecil's name was good upon change for anything he chose to put his hand to. Old Marky was as hollow as an inflatable doll. Cecil knew he was missing all right. How could it be otherwise? Cecil and he were partners in the bar. Cecil was his sole friend. Visitors to the bar might not be aware of Marky's vanishing, since even though Marky had gone to solo during beta, Cecil had not removed his name from the neon light that adorned the entrance, so that the sign above the door still read Trumpington and Marky's Bar and Barbecue. Inside the establishment behind the bar stands Bob Scratchit, polishing glasses with an old rag that appears to be the corner of a blanket, and indeed in the corner of the filthy scrap the letters LVIN can still be seen. As Cecil crosses the threshold, a young pilot, dressed in a fresh flight suit, with a far too cheerful look on his face, steps from the shadows towards Cecil and extends his hand.
Good morning, Uncle. For the mug.
Don't you feather mug me. I wish everyone would stop going on about those bloody mugs. Don't you know, I've got a hangover.
As Cecil heads back to the bar to hunt for some painkillers, his nephew turns to Bob, who is carefully packing some nuts.
He's in a good mood this morning, isn't he?
Yeah, I think everyone's been asking about their Christmas mugs again. It's drove him to drink. Well, drink more. I think he's been at the lighter fluid this morning.
I've got no idea what's got into him. We were thinking of inviting him round for Christmas. But he's not really into the spirit of it. He's turned mean.
Now, don't be unpleasant about him. He's got a very important job. I mean, these mugs, he brought them all here. Been left with a very important job. Keep them safe. Make sure we don't run out.
Even the ones with the handle on upside down?
We don't talk about that. You'll set him off again.
He's coming back. Uncle, I've come to invite you round for Christmas. I thought we could go out and start handing out mugs like we did last year. In fact, you're welcome to stay for the 12 days of Christmas. And we can spread some Hutton cheer like we always do.
Bah, fake mugs. Hutton cheer? Everyone wants a mug. Keep asking for the ruddy things. All day they bother me with mugs this, mugs that. It's nothing but mugs, 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 mugs. You're only putting on this event so you can get your hands on my mug.
But we've got loads of them in stock. All these colonial ones for starters, behind the bar.
People can't come in here ordering drinks and asking for something with a handle. They can have straight glasses like everybody else, or the sippy cups for the clumsy ones. Anyway, it's closing time. I'm off to mix myself a few cocktails. You lock up, and no touching the mugs. They're special. I don't want to hear another word about them.
As Cecil locks the drinks cabinet, taking a sip from a bottle or two as he does, Scratchit looks forlornly at one of the mugs, picks up his coat, and turns to leave.
You might not celebrate it anymore, Mr. Trumpington, but I'm going to say it anyway. For the mug! And you're always welcome with me, Tim, and Mrs. Scratchit.
Bah! Fake mugs!
Cecil made his way home, alone, through the crowded walkways of Fort Mug, past wassailing Vikings, the crowds of people, faces wreathed in smiles, whilst his was set in a grim scowl. At last he reached his own quarters, and upon the door was a pair of snockers, carved likenesses of whom visitors would use to announce their presence, if such a thing should ever happen, which it did not. Now, it's a fact that there was nothing at all unusual about these snockers, except that they were very large. You must bear in mind that Cecil had not given one thought to his missing partner in all of the years since his departure to Solo. So it was with astonishment that as Cecil reached for the snockers, they were mysteriously and inexplicably transformed into Marky's likeness. Cecil rubbed his eyes and checked the level in his hip flask and looked once more, but the snockers were their normal shape once again. Shaking his head and muttering, Cecil entered his quarters and sat down in front of a video channel showing a roaring fire, in order that he might feel some warmth. He heard a door bang open, and footsteps approaching. Something hideous came through the door and stood before Cecil, wearing a ghostly Stetson on its ghostly head.
I know you. My word. You're buck naked.
Nay, hoss, that ain't me. I'm the hollow me of Jacob Markey. Come to warn ye.
I mean, why have you got no clothes on? It's not big, and it's certainly not clever. On second thoughts, it is quite big. That must be awfully useful when you're trying to tie your shoelaces. But it's still not clever. Not unless it's prehensile. What are you doing?
You see me now, wearing the suit I forged in life. I spent my time in solitary pursuits, so I had no need of clothes. And I've come to warn you, Cecil, that you too are destined for a similar fate. Your love of mugs dooms you to Solo. The Hutton Helper tells me so. It's required of every pilot that they should spend time with their fellow commanders and travel in wings and squadrons far and wide across the galaxy. If a person does not do so in life, then they're doomed to solo for eternity.
Marky, tell me more. Speak comfort to me. Southern comfort, as only you can.
I have none to give, Cecil. I'm only permitted to say a little more. I must spend my days as a hollow me, doomed to wander through solo, invisible to all who enjoy each other's company. Hear me! My time is nearly gone.
I will, Jacob, but you've taken an awfully long time before coming to visit me. It feels like years. The least you can do is stay for a little glass or something.
Alas, in solo, I was limited to the economical mode, and my hollow ship was nothing but a diamondback with the jump range of a schoolyard skipping rope. Now quit your yammering and listen for once. You'll be haunted by 3 spirits.
That's a good idea. Whiskey, rum, and some lovely artisan gin.
Not even those. I'm not that dang obvious dagnabbit. These are hollow characters, and without their visits, you cannot hope to escape your fate. Expect the first tomorrow morning as the clock strikes 1, the second but 1 hour later, and the third when the last chime of 3 is sounded. Farewell, Cecil, and remember what I have said.
I know I get up a lot in the night to visit the little trucker's room, but that seems excessive. Goodbye, Marky, and good grief! That's a strange way for a hollow me to disappear, bending over and disappearing up his own fundament.
And Cecil climbed into bed, and despite the excitement of the last few minutes, possibly aided by the contents of his now empty hip flask, he fell instantly asleep. As the clock in the hall strikes 1, Cecil is startled awake. There's a glowing figure standing at the end of his bed, dressed in lycra and sporting a cycling helmet.
Cecil B. Trumpington.
Who the blazes are you? Are you a hollow me?
I'm the hollow me of Mugs past, and I'm here to take you on a journey.
On your bike?
No, we're going to Hutton. Remember the route?
Yes, I could do it blindfold. Okay, maybe a loop of shame or a shoop of lame or 2, but it's only 0.22 light years, or at least it was back then.
The room, then the station, then the planet fall away. Stars flash ever faster. The numbers count down. And an orbital surges into view, lights flashing. Ships are everywhere, dropping cargo, scooping, queuing by the pads. Hundreds of ships of all sizes coming and going. Passing the ships, the hollow me sweeps past them and in through a docking port marked "No Entry." And then up to a busy bar in the station.
Hang on. I know this place. It's the bar. But there are no mugs. Not one. And everyone looks so happy.
This is before the mug. This is the community goal consigned to the history books. Thousands of pilots with only one thing on their mind, working together to bring scrap for the idea of the mug.
That all sounds very, very foolish. Not even for a real mug.
You've forgotten what it's like to be an open. Let me bring you forward a little To Valhaling.
Yeah, I know that. That's where Vikings live, isn't it? Oh, look, there's Ramforth. Hello, Ramforth.
Buffoon. He can't see you. No, not even if you do that. No. Now, stop it. Do you remember? The year you saved the Vikings during you brought them drinks when they ran out.
The lights flash further back to Hutton. It's quiet. Sitting at the end of the bar, on her own, is a startling-looking young woman. Red hair in a fetching bob, slim face in a stern expression.
You recognize her, don't you?
No. Oh, hang on. Is it? Yes, it is. It's my darling Lael. Oh, I'd forgotten how she used to look back in Beta, when she had hair and before the accident. And look, it's Alvin. He's so small.
You were happy then? What happened?
Oh, we used to go out to places like Lavecon with other pilots. But the mission, it was important. I left. I had to go. I had to go to Colonia. They needed the shipment. It's not my fault. Torture me no more, spirit. Take me to bed. Hey, I don't mean like that, for goodness sake.
The scene flickers again. And they're back in Cecil's rooms. He's shivering more than a little, and the ghost tucks him up under the covers and places a hand on his forehead.
2 more hollow me's will visit you this evening. It's not too late for you, Cecil B. Trumpington. The spirit of the mug is within your grasp. You just need to open your eyes.
They are open. That's why I'm awake at this unreasonable hour in the morning. Bah, fake mugs.
Time passes. For the 3rd time that evening, Cecil is startled by an apparition.
Oh, bugger. The gravity is on the blink again. Will you come down from the ceiling?
Hello, it's me. Oh, bother. I'm halfway through the floor. I'm not used to being a hollow me. That's better. It's my turn.
You're wearing a nightie. For goodness sake, woman, it's see-through.
I thought this made me look more like a spirit.
Now, I can't see why they call you Flossy, though. That underwear. Good gracious, woman. Last time I saw something that stringy, the Don was serving it with a nice ragout. Enough to give wrong-way palpitations.
Stop peeking. Don't think I won't pan you. I'm here to show you the mugs of Christmas present.
I do like presents, you know. Ow!
As Flossy takes Cecil by the hand, they start sweeping through the station, passing through doorways and into home after home. At one, there's a pilot hunched over a stand, putting the final touches to a miniature figure. Through the wall they go, and there's a man in a rather tatty military uniform, lifting item after item off a 3D printer. One house has a picture of a volcano, another a selection of rather adorable-looking spaniels. Down the street, at the haberdasher...
Yeah, I do like that word, haberdashery.
Down the street at the haberdasher... A machine swiftly embroiders the emblem of a station onto small round patches. On the street corner, a team of pilots, all dressed in T-shirts emblazoned with the word Hotbox, are singing songs together and have started a snowball fight. Shouts of mug echo across the square. In the skies above, wings of 4 lift off, all sporting matching decals on their flanks, and heading for a mining outing. A diary appears in the air, floating in front of the pair of them.
Take a look. It's all here in black and white. Everything. Your friends, wingmen, squadron members, the lot. The things they make, the fun they have. They're not doing it for a reward.
Date after date flicks past. Mining. Going for gold. Around the verse in 80 days. 10 in 10. The 12 mugs of Christmas. Back past CGs and CQC, distant worlds, and trips to Beagle Point.
All of this. Do you remember, Cecil? It was all for the mug. Let me take you to see one more thing. You remember the scratchets?
How can I forget? They're mug-obsessed, a lot of them. My word, this looks rather like North Britain, doesn't it? And what on earth is that they're eating?
It's a haggis.
There's Bob and Mrs. Scratchit and their son. Oh, what's his name? Tim. Look, what's wrong with his head? He's small, but it's all swollen.
Space mumps, easily avoided by a little inoculation with a mug.
Am I getting a mug for Christmas this year, Dad?
They're too precious and rare for folks like us. There was a time when everyone was vaccinated with a mug, but these days, well, just like you, Tiny Tim, people started catching things, but it will all be okay. Here, have this. It's my mini mug. It's small like you, Tim. Very small. And slightly fragile.
Will this cure me of my mods, Dad? I mean, I know it's not a real mug or anything, but am I going to feel better?
I'm sure you'll be fine, lad. Right as rain tomorrow. Look, if you finish your haggis, I'll let you have a tea cake.
I do like tunnocks, Dad. It's nice of Cecil to let you go home and spend time with us.
Show me no more of this. It's not my fault. I can't be responsible for everyone spreading nasty diseases. They should wash their hands more, like Mr. Hankey. Would you look at his grotesquely swollen head? Actually, no, I can't look. I want to go back to bed.
You've forgotten what it's all about, haven't you? It's not about the mug. It's just for the mug. Mods isn't cured by a piece of frameshift metal panel beaten into a drinking vessel. It's what's behind the mug.
What? The bag of coffee over there? Lovely stuff. Makes my eyeballs vibrate. It's perfect with a shot of something potent in it. Hang on. Mods? That little tyke's got mods? But that's curable.
As a worried Cecil settles back down to sleep, and the hollow me of Flossy drifts back through the wall, with a ghostly,
"Oh, bother,"
the clock ticks on. As the clock strikes, and Cecil awakes once more, he sees a figure unlike the other hollow characters that have disturbed his sleep to date. All he can see is a tall, thin creature covered in a tattered robe, as if someone had thrown an old sheet over a hat stand. Nothing can be seen of the inhabitant of the garment, except 2 glowing orbs where Cecil assumed its eyes might live, and a shock of ginger hair.
Am I in the presence of the hollow me of mugs yet to come?
The creature did not answer directly, but part of its garment raised slowly, and a protuberance lifted and pointed towards Cecil.
Now, you see here, You may be a hollow me, and I'm sure you've got your reasons, but I had exactly enough of that sort of thing from Marky. Put it back where it came from.
Seeming to ignore Cecil, the protuberance was raised still further, until it came into the light cast by the dim glow from an overcharged Hutton mug.
Oh, I do beg your pardon. It's your finger. Strange-looking thing. Almost skeletal. And it's an odd colour. Good grief! You're made from bits of deck plate. Deck plates that never managed to be made into mugs. Lead on, Hollow Spirit. I know that you're here as an intervention.
It was as if they didn't move around the planet, but that the planet moved around them. All at once Cecil found himself in the commodities market, with the Hollow Me at his side.
No, I didn't know him either. I just know that last night he was switched to solo in his sleep.
What was the matter with him?
No one knows. It certainly wasn't mods. The old bugger had more mugs than anyone's ever seen.
What has he done with them then?
I haven't heard. Jettisoned them into space for all I know. Here, did you hear what happened to that little lad?
Tell me, Spirit. Who are they speaking about?
The Spirit, as was his wont, said nothing, but gestured with his bony digit, and Cecil found himself on a lonely ice world, standing beside two canisters.
Where are we, Spirit? I don't recognize this place, and it's really cold.
The digit droops down to point down at one of the canisters.
You do know that performance enhancers can help with that, don't you? Or so I've been told. Oh, my. That's a terrible sight.
I heard that the lad's space mobs got out of control. With mods, it's always a risk. His face swelled up so much that one day he couldn't fit his remlock, and his father had to leave him out there in an escape pod, with only a tourist beacon and a souvenir for company.
What's that in the glass panel of this pod? Good grief! It's a face! A face that's turned blue and pressed so hard into the glass that his nose is all smooshed up. Oh, that's awful! It's Scratchit's boy. He's out here, all alone, and frozen like a giant knobbly feast bar with a little stick at the bottom. And what's in the other canister? It's got a brass plate. It says, "Property of Cecil B. Trumpington." It's my mugs. They've crash-landed next to him. Oh, if only someone had given that poor lad one. He wouldn't look like a fast-frozen Mekon. Oh, if only I hadn't gone to solo like old Marky. I can't look. It's too horrible. Spirit, is it too late?
The Spirit shook its hooded head and firmly poked the extended digit into his chest, just above his heart. Cecil grabbed the finger and pulled. There was a slight parp, and the hood and robe collapsed. Cecil found himself back in his bedroom, clutching an empty bottle of tonic. He drifted into fitful sleep, but finally lay very still indeed. As the sun rose over Fort Mug, Cecil yawned, stretched, and looked surprisingly fresh given the amount he drank the night before. He dressed in his finest tweeds, grabbed a quick Barocca and Alka-Seltzer XS from a mug, then stopped as he spied himself in the mirror, mug in hand, and remembered.
My word, I'm still in open. I think I've had an epiphany. It's not for the mug, it's for the mug. I've been such an idiot. Oh, I hope it's not too late.
As he charges out of his room, pulling one green sock up, he barrels into a couple of young scamps.
For the mug? In a mug, I say. Are those some of those pretend mugs? Here, let me buy one from you, and you can go and spend the money on a real one. Can't have you getting poorly now, can we?
Why, thank you, Mr. Trumpington, sir. And for the mug to you, too.
In fact, boys, here's a void opal. You get down to Muggsy's Emporium and buy the largest one you can find. Take it to the Scratch-It quarters. Mind you stick together, though. It's much more fun if you're in a wing.
Right you are, sir. One mug coming right up.
Cecil rushes down to the bar, hurriedly opens the door, and without a second thought, smashes the glass on the display cabinet, scooping mug after mug into a waiting sack. As he rushes out of the door, he starts throwing them around. Passers-by catch some of them, others fall to the ground with a crash.
Oh, don't worry about that. It's not having a mug that's important. It's giving a mug. Here, look, have two. One for each hand. One man, two mugs.
Rounding a corner, he opens the door to his nephew's quarters.
Come here, boy. I want a word.
Look, if you're coming here at this time of year with all that nonsense about fake mugs, I don't want to hear it. You're not spoiling Christmas.
I don't care about fake mugs. Look, here, have the lot.
Have you been drinking?
Well, not yet, but I will be. I'll be doing it in company, and I don't care what from. Could be a shoe for all I care. I'm leaving. Tomorrow for Hutton. I've got a date to keep.
He's finally cracked. Off his rocker.
As he slowly calmed himself, Cecil walked through the station, staring in wonder at the rest of his neighbours from Colonia. Every time he said the words, "For the mug," he was rewarded with a warm smile and a "for the mug" back. Not one item changed hands. Not one person inquired about real mugs.
Scratch it. Come here. Where's that delightful son of yours? My word, boy, your head looks really unpleasant. Here, look, I've got some of Nurse Wyeth's special ointment. Ah, great, they brought the mug too.
I don't know what to say, Mr. Trumpington. This is too generous.
You see, that's just it. That's the cure. Now, where's the haggis? I want a slice before I leave.
Does this mean my head won't explode now, Dad?
It does indeed, my lad. We owe Mr. Trumpington a big for the mug.
For the mug, sir.
Oh, for the mug to you, my boy, and a very muggy Christmas. Cheers.
That was A Christmas Mug by the Hutton Orbital performers, starring Cecil as a grumpy old git, Mr. Cow as Bob Scratchit, Mia as ever so tiny Tim, Flossy as a Christmas present in a nightie, Russ as the long-lost voice of Mugs past, Buck Naked as Jacob Markey, Hober as the sound of a door and a stunt appendage, Deadmeat as both the Rude Mechanicals and Lemony Twist, Rampage as the ever-eager nephew, Palantir as even ruder Mechanicals and the artful Bodger, Aemilia as the third shepherd on the left, one of Father Christmas's elves, a Roman soldier, and Rudolph. You didn't hear them, but they were there. And the ever mellifluous Commander Wotherspoon, narrating so we don't have to.
Wow. I'd forgotten how much I enjoyed that.
That was awesome.
That was and thank you so much to all the voices. I mean, I know we did it last year as well, but I'm going to say it again. Just phenomenal, talent. The writing and Palantir, who worked on the writing of that one as well. Just I enjoyed that.
Yeah, it was great.
That was good.
And as an adaptation of an old favourite, and it was appropriate. It was very appropriate to these times as well.
Apart from being inappropriate in the places as well.
Well, yeah, okay, wholly inappropriate. Don't get space mumps. Wash your hands and have a mug. But well, look,
If it wasn't inappropriate.
Well, it wouldn't be Hutton if it wasn't inappropriate. Yes, and we've had a lovely message for Digitary as well over on the Paladin Consortium, saying thank you very much to everyone for the huge amount of depth that you and everyone from Hot add to this silly game we live in. It's not a game; it's real, isn't it?
Yeah.
Game? What game?
Game. This is real life. Obviously, obviously, mods is a terrible condition, and owning a Hutton mug makes it all a little bit better. Or owning a Hutton decal, or in fact, just taking part makes it better. But look, before we go, the Banter bus is in full swing, and we did see a couple of other commanders up there. We were sent a message by Deadmeat saying, grab Rampage by the diddly doodahs and drag him down here before we go. So can somebody grab the Rampage? Hello, Rampage.
Hello, how are you doing?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. We enjoyed that. The Christmas panto is now over. We were going to say, is it okay to interrupt some of the banter bus and say good night to everybody?
Yeah, absolutely, be fine with that.
Well, do you want a quick word with them to warn them before we grab them? I'll say a couple of words here. Do you want to give them a quick warning, and then pop back down here when they're ready to be grabbed? And yeah, right. Well,
leave it with me.
That's what time are we at now? It is 10:51 on Christmas Eve, which means we've got an hour to do whatever we need to do. Finish the wrapping, do the shopping, make sure you've not forgotten anything ready for tomorrow. Other than that, yes, we are going to be back. Flossy, when are we back? In a week? Oh no, Flossy.
A week, yes.
No,
next week.
We've got
the full show's not for.
Yeah, well, so what we're going to do on New Year's Eve is we're going to have a bit of a laugh. So we're going to see whether we can put another Hutton Panto together in time with Chix and Palantir and others in time for next Thursday. If we can, we'll broadcast that. If not, we're probably just going to kick back and play some games. So we might get into some CQC and play a few games as well and have a bit of a laugh up until the bongs go at midnight and we can say, "Funk you, Shiznod," to 2020 because it's been rubbish. Aemilia, we're now on March the what?
March
we're on March the
300 and something?
Yeah, it's March the 300 and lots. But,
something like that.
Yeah, I know. I mean, we lost count at the point you stopped doing your updates, but we assume
that's
them
back. I did them every day for half a year. I thought that would be enough.
I know. But I mean,
I still post on occasion. I posted what was the latest one? Something about my grandpa.
Well, that or scaring the postman again.
I think have a different postman.
Oh no, you scared him so bad he quit.
I don't know. He just disappeared, and then we had a new one.
It was March 259th last week in the script.
Goodness gracious me, March the lot. Rampage, are they okay to have an interruption?
Yes, all good, organised.
Well, tell you what, let's grab the banter bus and get them in here and just say good night to everybody. Here we go. Grabbing a few of them. A few more banter bus people and Argon as well.
I've been grabbed, sir.
Yeah, you've been grabbed, yes. Nowhere that's going to get me arrested.
Oh, that's what you think. I thought it was
Good evening, the banter bus.
Good evening.
Hello.
We've got Commander Verlerin. Oh, crikey, now they're all mixed up. We've got Argon Tenaeus, we've got Commander Claire Helen, we've got the Snake, 101824.
Oh, yes.
And were you guys were all bounty hunting this evening?
Yes.
Yeah. Obviously, we are going to be sending a copy of this show over to Baz. So if you have any messages for Baz, say them now, quick.
Happy Christmas,
Happy Christmas.
Yeah, happy Christmas.
Baz.
Happy Christmas, everybody, but happy Christmas, Baz, as well, because Baz has gone into lockdown and hospital, which is rubbish.
Yes. Happy Christmas, Baz. We're keeping the Hazres clean with limpets. It's fine. The fleet carriers, fine. Nothing's happened to it. We've been looking after it. It's fine.
Just don't look at the left-hand side.
Just don't look at the side away from the sun. We're not going to tell you what Argon Tenace has done to that side. He'll tell you
No,
later.
the other side, just don't go there. Not until we've painted it, at least. But look, other than that, no, thank you very much to our listeners. I'm going to go to the stream chat now and just say thanks to everybody. So, can everybody else see the stream chat as well? So it's not just me talking.
Yeah, I can see it.
Flossy was the first voice there. So do we want to tic tac Flossy on we'll take a name each. I'm going to say thank you to Adamantium 13.
Thank you to Kane555. Kaney.
Oh, crikey, you're in a different order to me. I'm going...
Yeah,
okay,
me
too. And Aiton. Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
And come on, somebody take the next one. Oh, Bobby Tarantino, Commander Beetlejude, who is... I tell you what, I watched that video of Beetlejude
I was
drawing...
looking at the wrong bit.
Commander
sorry.
Drayden. Commander
Commander-
Chix.
And Commander Root.
Commander Root's a bot.
Commander Root's a bot?
Obviously the one that does all the damage to our enemies.
Oh, right, okay.
Feet.
Feet? Many, many feet. And Photopia? Photopia? I can't pronounce that. Somebody else do the next one.
Ice Wizards.
Yeah. It's Micro T.
Yesterday.
And Kaney 555.
Lemon Juices 12.
Lord Shouty.
Maybe I look out of his window. You think? Hope I said that right. If not, I apologise.
A Millstone Barn.
Rubber Slayer.
Or is it Rubber's layer? Who knows?
Nah, Rubber Slayer.
Saddest Kitty.
Aww.
And Silly Gnome 225.
Now that's a name that belongs here.
It does, yes.
Tom Toms. But this weird way of spelling Tontons.
V and K.
And Virgo Pros. And also for the live room here, we've got Rampage, we've got Aiden, obviously Aemilia, Argon Tenace, Claire Helen, Argon Tenace. Before we move down, thank you very much for looking after the banter bus. Argon Tenace isn't there. Claire Helen.
Oh, yeah, I am. Sorry.
Oh, you are here?
very busy shooting people at the moment.
No, it's really nice to have some
difficult to shoot and push to talk at the same time.
Well, yeah. It's nice to have some company on Christmas Eve for those of you that are stuck at home. Commander Claire Helen, are you there?
Yeah, yes, I'm here. I'm in tier 5. I'm not allowed to talk.
Oh. Well, look forward to that little parcel that's under the tree tomorrow. It should make you giggle.
I thought the cat did that.
Yeah, and that's from all of us as well. Obviously, to Commander Chix, thank you for your writing. It's great to have you on the team for the last few weeks as well.
Thank you.
And I look forward to, now that I've got some time, spending some time putting a script together for next week.
Should be fun.
We've got the Snake 101824.
Hello.
Obviously, Commander Deadmeat. Thank you as always.
For the mug.
Commander Flossy, we couldn't do it without you. We really couldn't.
For the mug.
Yes, the Pilots Federation favourite. To the Infinite Dreamer who snuck in while we were broadcasting that last bit.
Yes, evening all. I've not been on for a while.
No, but it's a pleasure to have you here. And Commander, it's strange.
Privyet.
And of course, the crystal ball gazer that is the Litho Breaker.
The absolute mug.
And only because it's letter V, not last but not least, it is the Verleran.
For the mug.
For the mug. Right, good night, everybody. We will see you in 7 days when we're going to have some more fun. Please do come and join us if you're on your own, if you feel like you want some company. Other than that, we've got a tune, I think. I've got to push the right button. Here we go. Good night, everyone. Have a wonderful Christmas.
Have a seamless
have a good
Christmas.
Christmas, everybody.
Have a good Christmas.
Night. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas,
Happy
one and all.
Mugmas.
For the mug.
And remember, yes, it's for the mug.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of the show. Everybody's buggered off now, so why don't you bugger off too?
And the one thing I had... Oh, there we go. It's playing. It's playing. Good night.
Journey too long, no cargo too small. Profit margins never really mattered at all. Gonna take the cargo where it's needed today. Super cruising all across the Milky Way. We're taking anything, anytime, anywhere. Loading all the teen out to the brim with the rest for the more, for the more, for the more, for the more. Yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the more, for the more, for the more, for the more. Yeah, everybody sing the trucker song. Flossy always seems to crash into the sun. Skibble lights the pilot on the Xmas one. Halving out the free, you know he leads us one. Trucking across the galaxy, now everybody out. For the more, for the more, for the more, for the more. Yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the more, for the more, for the more, for the more. Everybody sing the Hutton Trucker song. For the more, for the more, for the more. You know just where we're coming from. For the more, for the more, for the more, for the more. Everybody sing the Hutton Trucker song. So give me a large path that I can land on, and I'll give you cargo and sing you my song. No point 22 light years to go, cruising to Hutton, no journey too long, no cargo too small. The profit margins never really mattered at all. We're gonna take the cargo where it's needed today. Super cruising all across the Milky Way. We're taking anything, anytime, anywhere. So shout it out loud, loud. You don't even care. For the more, for the more, for the more, for the more. Yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the more, for the more, for the more. Everybody sing the Hutton Trucker song. For the more, for the more, for the more. Yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the more, for the more, for the more. Everybody sing the Hutton Trucker